Here's done.
Suckers!
Good evening, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. Coming to you live and tipsy from the Dean's Office of the prestigious Institute of Higher Learning known as Boner Academy. It's the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. Tonight, the boys reminisce about their college days, what little they can remember about them, as they dissect Richard Linklater's 2016 return to form film, Everybody Wants Some, while slurping down keg stand after keg stand of Uncle Billy's Barton Springs Pale Ale and smoking the complex and delicious Güegüense, the wise man cigar, from Foundation Cigar Company, courtesy of the famous smoke shop. Sounds like our crew is going to have more fun tonight than that time back in college when our three spunky heroes spent their summer break saving Camp Lakeview from the evil developer Monica Shavitz. By defeating her Camp Twin Oaks water skiing team in the big competition, they once again secured peace and prosperity to... Okay, that's actually the plot to Meatballs 4, starring Corey Feldman. Truth is, your Tuesday night Lotharios remember so little about their university shenanigans that I had to come up with something on my own. Don't judge me, damn it. You know, I really don't get paid enough for this horse shit. Anywho, folks, sit back, light 'em up, and enjoy the show.
You boys watching, was this day 3 of the Republican convention? You watch any of that?
No, I'm staying as far away from it as possible.
You watch any Yaks?
Not really, no.
No. I gotta tell you, I'm kind of... People say whatever they want about it. I'm feeling the Johnson.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
tired. It's weird because I've gotten to a place, especially this last weekend, that I'm not going to tell anybody how to vote. I'm tired. I'm not going to make my case. I'm not going to, say why I'm doing something. I'll say like what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm probably voting for Johnson. I think Gary Johnson. Is he right for me? I'm kind of scared. I don't want him to be munching on some, marijuana brownies. Hey, look at what Russia's doing. I'm hitting the bomb. This is cool.
Who's Gary Johnson?
The Johnson. You're feeling the Johnson. That's Gary Johnson, the governor of New Mexico. He's running for president of the Libertarian ticket.
Oh. Yes. That's what I was referring to.
What'd you... Oh. Yeah.
I'm glad we have these little chats before the cameras are rolling. Yikes.
The camera is rolling.
Huh?
Yeah, I did the whole wavy clap, sound, camera rolling, sound speeding. You never really do listen to anything that we say, do we?
I flat out told you I was feeling the Johnson. Sorry if my mind was elsewhere. So it's recording.
Yes. Yeah, Fritz is rolling.
That's...
Well, speaking of feeling Johnsons, Gary or otherwise, and I think what you said was correct. It's not even worth talking about at this point. Follow your heart.
Yeah. Just do what you want to do, man.
Follow your Johnson.
It's cool.
Seriously, vote for Gary Johnson. Welcome, everybody. Tuesday Night Cigar Club, episode 35?
35 it is, man.
35.
Wow. Yeah. Seems like we should have done more of these. Or does it seem like we've done a lot of these?
It seems like we've done a hell of a lot.
Like more than 35.
Yeah,
It seems like that number should be higher.
135?
We do drink a lot. Maybe it is higher.
I was going to say, it's probably knocked off 35 years of my life.
Well, yeah. I don't know about 35 years. It's knocked off some considerable time. But it is episode 35.
Only the weak years. Only the weak years.
For the weak years. We're not going to be... We've done some politically charged episodes here not last week, but a couple weeks before.
not
last.
Tie that into politics?
Not last week.
Would be a stretch.
I believe the theme of last week was the only political subtext was all knockers matter.
All knockers matter.
But no, not this week. This week is we're staying far away from anything political once again. You got to, man. We just need a break from everything else. I don't, dude. I've unfollowed so many people on Facebook just because I just can't see it. I just don't want anything to do with it.
I haven't. I mean, it's weird how we won't put up with somebody saying to our face, what they'll say with regards to politics. I mean, if you were to talk to somebody's, girlfriend, dog, mom, sister, like you talk to people about their politics, you get your face punched in. I mean, it's like politics is the only time that you can be called a fucking the British would call it a fucking twat, ignorant moron. Just these vicious, vile words. And then be like, oh, well, it's a civil discussion. No, it's not. You're being a fucking dick right now.
Yeah.
Just because you have a difference of opinion right now.
Yeah, I really think in election years they should suspend social media for a year.
Oh, thanks, government. Cade's going to be on the...
I will be on the High Council.
The Cadre Cola roll.
I don't know. It's just there's a lot of different feelings about it. But more than anything, I'm feeling the Johnson.
We know you like to feel your Johnson.
Figuratively and literally. But that's none... Are we recording?
You're going to need a lawyer.
Where do you think the Corner No Hope got its name? Me down here by myself feeling my Johnson. Just kidding.
Don't look at
No.
me.
We'll edit that out.
I'm not bailing you out on this one. I'm just going to let you run it.
Of course not.
I'm just going to let you keep stroking.
Just going to throw that out there. Look into Gary Johnson. Just looking at it. Do a little reading. Never hurt anybody. I'm not a big reader myself, but I gave him a little look into, and I think it's some interesting points that we talk a lot about. I'm tying into the show. A lot of interesting things going on that tie into what we talk into the show. Not tonight's show, but other shows. Go educate yourself. Get off Facebook.
There is a tie-in between Johnson and tonight's show.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Don't forget. But the Tuesday Night Cigar Club encourages you to educate yourself and don't not vote.
Yeah, go out there and make the best decision that you can. Do whatever you want to do, man.
Right, Yak Boy?
I would say yes, but
It's un-American to not vote.
yes.
Yeah, not too sure about that.
Not voting can be its own form of protest.
It can be a protest horse.
That's Tuesday Night Cigar Club style. Laziness. Get your ass off the couch. No, I'm protesting.
I am so protesting.
I'm so
right
protesting.
Who did you vote for? There was an election? What year is this?
Oh.
Spuds McKenzie.
Anyways, get out there. That's our big political push. You won't hear me mention it ever again.
Until next show.
I'll tell you what I will mention. YouTube.
Yes.
If you're listening to us right now on our website or iTunes, consider jumping over to our YouTube page where you can watch the whole damn episode on there. I think it's a nice option to have. That is, if your streaming device and your brain can handle this much sizzling sex appeal and unfiltered ballsiness. Huh? Come on, boys, look into the camera and sell this thing. Give him your.
He's just going to be touching his Johnson the whole time. It's
2 hands on top of the table. Don't know where Tut's hand is. Tut, that's enough. Oh God, that's enough. So be sure and check with your network provider before you blow a cell tower watching us.
just enough with the innuendo, please.
Tuesday Night Cigar Club. We're so ballsy, we'll blow your cell tower. Maybe we'll blow you. No. It's not what I meant. We'll blow your mind.
Stop drinking to that.
We'll blow your mind.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. When it's podcast time, make it Tuesday Night Cigar Club time.
Oh,
I can live with that.
We got to edit out that where I tell the viewers I'll blow them. God, that's like 2 things I got to edit out now.
Wow, we've never had so many people write in.
Well, get on the YouTube, check it out. Leave us some feedback in the comment sections. I always say we appreciate both positive and negative.
Yeah.
Scratch that. If you don't have something nice to say,
keep your mouth shut.
don't say anything. We don't want to hear that bullshit. Leave us alone if you're going to be negative. Seriously, don't. I got all worked up. Somebody posted something negative on YouTube the other day. I said some things I probably shouldn't have. So yeah, just build our massive egos up even more, and be nice, play nice. That's what's wrong with America. Everybody's so snippy and negative. Just play nice.
Yeah.
Is it that hard to play nice?
Apparently so.
Apparently so.
It is when Southwest Airlines
Oh, he's gonna get
computers
No,
crash. Actually, I'm not. I mean, what are you gonna do? They're all computers.
Did they really crash?
You're going
or-
to use your platform as a member of one of the biggest film, cigar, beer podcasts out there to throw some shade on Southwest Airlines.
No, actually, I'm not. I thought they handled it from a PR standpoint about as best as you can.
Oh, okay.
Their Twitter response time, I mean, they were answering like tweets at like 2-3 times a minute. I mean, just for hours on end. I went through there, trying to surf through all of it to find some sort of answer, which never came.
How long were you stuck at the airport?
About 2.5 hours on the first leg.
2.5. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Like I said,
Dude,
it wasn't.
if you watch
that
this
bad.
guy's post on Facebook, like, here we are still.
No, I wouldn't like that at all.
Jen hasn't had water. I thought you were there like 10 hours.
No,
I texted him like, do we need to postpone the show? Like, are you gonna get out of this? Like 2 hours?
Well, no, it kept escalating through the day. So, like, when we touched down for the next leg of our flight, it was like...
Yeah, we had to wait 30 minutes.
It was unacceptable. It was totally unacceptable.
I'm sorry you had to go through
Hey,
that.
the struggle is real, dude.
I'm sorry you had to go
They
through that
only
hell.
gave us 3 bags of complimentary peanuts. This is outrageous.
They didn't even give us extra bags, man. No extra peanuts.
Well,
Screw you, Southwest. Until
there,
I fly,
that's what I was.
Until I fly you again.
That's what I was looking for.
I'll totally fly you again.
You're on a watch
You're
list
cool.
now. And I've like got myself on 3 watch lists just in the first 10 minutes. No more feeling the Johnson. No more blowing everybody. God, Cody, you gotta stop saying shit like that, man.
I haven't said anything.
We're on YouTube now. Now you can't ditch him.
Oh shit! I used to blame all that stuff on. Damn it! They can see us. Can you like impose those Conan O'Brien mouths to where it looks
Just
like?
gonna put Cody's face on there. Which one is the real Cody?
One other thing I want to mention. A quick shout out. Our friends and sponsors at Famous Smoke Shop have just released their cigar and spirits pairing guide. We know our pairing guides here at the Tuesday Night Cigar Club.
We love them.
Ad nauseum. We did the 35-part series on the Altadis Monte Cristo Social Club cigar pairing guide. This one's a little different.
Yeah, I started playing with it a little bit, and yeah, you're right. It's not the.
It doesn't quite have the verbiage
heather
and
honey
the.
on a billowy white.
No,
fluffy rabbit tail.
This one is actually, it's all online. Go to famous-smoke.com/cigar-pairing.
Yeah,
And basically, I think there's 3 questions.
yeah,
What are you drinking? Now, there's no beer on there yet.
yeah.
Scotch, whiskey, tequila, rum. Pick that. Then ask you how much you paid for, didn't
Yeah.
break the bank, something special. I got bills to pay. It's all done in a very casual kind of
Yeah, a little bit tongue in cheek.
verbiage. It gets really tongue in cheek. And then what activity are you planning on doing?
Yeah,
And it's like, there's some funny ones on there. But you just pick the one closest to what your vibe's going to be that night. And then it gives you the cigar to smoke. I did a couple of them. I actually hadn't had any of the cigars that it offered, so
yeah.
I'll give it a whirl. You guys did it. Enjoyed it. Got a kick out of the app.
Yeah, I thought so, and I thought the pairings were. I mean, without smoking some of them, I thought some of them were pretty decent.
Okay.
Your Ashton with your nice high-end Scotch. They had a Cohiba with a nice bourbon. So it's not just. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got different cigar. I answered 3 different things and got the same cigar for each. But it made sense because I kind of went with the funniest, most
Yeah.
depressing activity, and I usually drink the cheapest stuff. So I guess it makes sense. They gave me a reasonably priced. Nice,
Yeah, it's gonna be like, here,
nice
just
cig-
smoke this because
smoke
it's not
this
gonna
and-
matter.
And please don't visit our website again. I thought that was harsh. They shouldn't have said that. But,
Well, I mean, yeah.
No, it is. It's very user friendly, and hey, we like pairings. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, FamousSmoke.com, we are available for consultation. Visit us for our consultation rates.
well, they did say they consulted with expert mixologists and tobacconists to create this, and I can hear my phone ring.
Exactly.
What about our expert pairings?
Well,
Who were these experts? Top experts.
Top experts. Aren't we technically pairing guides, like personified?
No, we're more like pairing Sherpas.
If they really wanted to get into the heart and soul of cigar pairing, they should have called us in. We'd show up like what's his face in nomads with our pith hats and our little
Archaeologist
we're
jackets?
your guides. But then again, maybe it's because they didn't have beer. They didn't. If they had done beer, they would have called
That's
us.
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that our phone
Everybody
will ring,
knows. Give us a
will
call.
ring in just seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have.
We got the best pairings. We're going to be number one in pairings. Don't worry about the pairings.
famous-smoke.com/cigar-pairing. Check it out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, pretty easy. 3 steps and you're done.
Speaking of Famous Smoke Shop, tonight's cigar is courtesy of Famous Smoke Shop. The Güegüense Churchill by Foundation Cigar Company.
What?
Güegüense,
It's a
but
little too easy to set
you
up.
primitive screwheads, if you can't get that right, translates to the wise man.
And that's what I will be calling it.
All right. What are you going to call it, Yax?
I'm going to call it the Güegüense.
The Güegüense.
Güegüense.
The Güegüense.
L is Spanish for the. I don't know if you knew that or not.
That I knew.
Oh, okay.
It's the other one I didn't know.
Actually, isn't L he?
Huh?
Yeah, I think L is he.
No, it's the when it's a male object.
Oh, so it's not he Wiseman?
You would say L penis
Oh.
because it's a male object. You would say la vagina because it's feminine.
Yeah, it's so confusing, man.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it a cigar now at this point.
Hey, pretty soon we're going to have a wall and we're not going to have to deal with any of these crazy, scary words. Feeling the Johnson. The name does translate to the wise man. The wise man, Güegüense, is one of the oldest and most famous theatrical plays in Nicaragua.
Okay.
And Foundation
That's pretty cool.
Cigar Company's founding father, Nicholas Melillo, is certainly rooted deep in the country of Nicaragua at this point in his career. Nick is the former vice president and director of tobacco and production at Drew Estate Cigar Company, which we have talked a lot about, obviously. He's lived in Esteli, Nicaragua for the past 12 years or so, and he played a crucial role in creating a ton of premium cigars that you guys may have heard of. Liga Privada number 9.
Yep, heard of it. Loved it.
T52.
Hey, love that one too. Heard
Dirty
of it.
Rat.
I smoke it, yep.
Feral Pig, my favorite.
Yeah, I've been
Flying
known to do
Pigs,
that.
Velvet Rats, Nika Rustica,
Yeah.
Java, you name it. He was on the floor helping create some of our favorite cigars, along with Saka, who we've had on the show.
And so did he split off, just
JD.
do his own thing and
He
all
did.
that good stuff?
I think right around maybe a little after Saka left.
Okay.
This is his first release from Foundation Cigar Company. It is a Nicaraguan Puro, of course. It's composed of a Corojo 99 wrapper from Jalapa in Nicaragua. A binder is
It's gonna be
also
a little bit sweet. All right.
also Corojo 99 Jalapa from a different area, the Finca San Jose, whereas the wrapper is Finca Puntalito.
Finctus is what?
Finca Puntal. I thought I was gonna get that vine and like nobody's calling me on. Finca Puntalito
Sure.
in Jalapa is the wrapper, whereas Finca San Jose is the binder. The filler is mixed Corojo and Criollo tobaccos from Esteli and Jalapa. And I think I can get this right. It's a Churchill.
Yes.
7 by 48.
Nice.
Classic Churchill size and shape. Very silky in the hand.
It is.
It's almost got like a velvet.
It's got a little bit of a residue to it.
It's got a little
I like
velvet
it.
smoothness to it.
What is that? Velvet?
From the Famous Smoke Shop website, we get this description. This full-bodied beast is a well-balanced smoke that's aged in cedar before it's ready to go. Melillo's love for Nicaragua comes through in every puff of this cigar. I'm going to skip what the price is till later on. I should mention both Tuttle and I'm joined tonight, by the way, as always, by my right-hand man, Cody Leschker, and across the table, Mr. Jason Tuttle. Tut and I had one of these the very first week they hit shelves.
Yeah.
I would say it may have been... We were there together. I think we may have been birthday shopping for this guy.
Could be, yeah.
So maybe 2 Octobers ago, maybe?
Could be.
I'd have to check the math
I know it was
on that.
many drinks ago. That's why at
many.
first I was like, well, I should disqualify myself from the pricing. But it's been so long and so many beers. I don't remember.
And I think we smoked the double Toros. It was a thick, I think it was like a 60 ring gauge maybe, or a bigger.
Yeah, it was big.
It was big. So it hit the shelves and we were there and they literally just cracked open the box and we grabbed them.
Is this the same run? I mean, or is this like...
Yes, this is original. I believe it's the same original release.
Okay.
Blend has not changed. It obviously is a smaller ring gauge with the Churchill, which is my favorite Vitola. I love the Churchill. So I'm curious to see. We both had the same experience. I don't know if I should throw it out there. I don't want to jinx him.
Nope.
We'll talk about that towards the end.
Yeah.
But it's been. I will say this. It's been one I've been very curious to go back to.
Yeah.
And it does fit in with Nick's involvement with this, as far as someone who's been involved with a lot of big things in the past. I kind of thought of him when picking the movie tonight, because tonight's director also has a pedigree that goes back quite a ways, and is responsible for some, at least one top 10 flick, like Nick's involvement in at least one top 10 cigar for me, if not 3 or 4. So anyway, that's what we're smoking. In the spirit of tonight's Austin-centric movie, Austin, Texas-centric movie, we've gone with a very Austin, Texas-centric beer, which I know nothing about. Yak Boy, educate us.
Tonight we are drinking Uncle Billy's Brewery Barton Springs Pale Ale. That's a mouthful.
Uncle Billy's Brewery, Barton Springs Pale Ale.
Never heard of the beer or the...
I've actually heard of the brewery, of course,
Okay.
me being a local, but I've never had it. I've always kind of bypassed it for something else, like Austin Beer Works, that kind of stuff.
Tell us, they're out of Austin, I'm assuming?
They are out of Austin. They are located on Barton Springs Road, of all things. The beer does not derive its name from that. It derives it actually from Barton Springs. If you visit Austin or from Austin, if you're from Austin, you know of Barton Springs. Yeah, everybody loves it there. It's one of the great swimming holes.
It's just not the same as when I was growing up.
No.
It's going to be one of those conversations, is it?
For you new listeners, Tut moved out that way about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's part of the problem. Why Austin is no longer the Austin that those of us who grew up around here really do miss, and pour a little bit of our malt liquor out to at night.
It's just a shame. But no, it's a very beautiful place.
Is the water in the beer actually taken from Barton Springs?
No.
Good. That's a lot of
that's a lot of urine.
That's a lot of hipster urine and
Just unbathed masses.
just lots of. There's actually a little hipster on the can here.
Yes, there is.
A little heavily bearded guy with an old timey striped swimsuit on, and I guarantee you, on a week Saturday, you go down to Barton Springs, you're going to see this guy.
Most likely. That's not just some picture they thought, oh, this will look good on the can. They probably took it from someone who was standing around the spring.
Lots of flavors, I'm assuming.
Yes. Uncle Billy's started here about 07. They were not just a brewery. They also most people would call it a brew pub, but they do barbecue. So it's actually known as Uncle Billy's Brew and Q.
Okay.
So,
anybody ever been? You never been there?
I have been there, actually.
You have been there?
Yes, it's very good.
Barbecue's good?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had this beer?
I have not had this beer.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
This is actually my first time as well.
Have you had any of the others?
Yes.
Uncle Bill's?
Green. They do.
Yes.
This one comes to us canned. They have tried the other two that they also can on. The Lazy Sunday and the Green Room. So those are both very good, but this will be the first time for their pale ale.
Okay.
Just on the stats, it comes on a little bit stronger. It's about a 6.6 ABV, but it is being a pale ale. Still has a little bit of bitterness, but it's not as much. It's at a 45 IBU.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what you guys think of it.
But
Because to me, that 40 to 60 range is.
They do give it.
I thought you'd like that.
The descriptors listing it as being very citrus and floral, which I have immediately picked up like right off the bat. So but it's not that.
It's
heavy.
not Don de Dieu floral.
No, not at all. Actually, after the Shandy last episode,
I've had enough of lemon. Thank you very much.
The funny thing is I clicked open a Miller High Life before the deal, and I just for some reason just being back in the corner of No Hope made me think to the Shandy, and I'm like, oh man, Miller is so much better than.
Yeah, you didn't hide your miserableness. I was watching some of that episode back. Like, look at him, he hates it. He's cringing every time he thinks of it. Boy, the hoppiness is there, but it's nothing. Like I said,
it's not bitey.
I knew a non IPA guy like Tud over here would not be turned off by it. Really good flavor so far. Mm-hmm. Really good flavor.
Yeah, it's citrusy, but it's not too yicky.
Yes,
it's my technical term. Yicky.
I think as far as a summer beer, continuing our summer series of beers that has an Austin or Texas tie-in, which I saddled Yaks with finding us. Way too early for the pairing, but as far as finding a beer,
up, huh?
Well done, my friend.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the beer.
There is flavor in there. I'm having a hard time.
Crystal malt.
Is that the crystal malts? What is a crystal malt?
I have no idea. I wouldn't.
Well, there goes our credibility.
Malt is not.
Just make something up.
It's delicious.
We're supposed to be top experts, man.
It's like rock candy that they put into the beer.
You think Famous is going to come calling with you and doing that?
Uncle Billy goes down into interspace caverns beneath sea level and grows hops in these stalactites of... Yeah, Famous is going to totally call someone else now.
Well, you brought up stalactites. Funny that you should mention that. I was just at Interspace last week.
Were you?
Yeah, it was. It was fun.
I went about it last summer.
Those that don't know, Interspace is a inner cavern. It's a cave.
It is a miles and miles and miles stretch.
Yes.
Yeah. I walked it. It felt like miles. But then again, I'm horribly out of shape. You're okay. It's about 100 feet. Where are we? About halfway to Bastrop by now?
No.
There's the gift shop cave. Literally.
You actually walked down the stairs to the cave.
Dude, there's at least a few miles.
I think that...
Well, it's circular. Not like straight miles. Total miles.
The whole tour, if you take it, is maybe a mile at most. The cavern itself
you know what?
goes
Forget
on...
Famous Smoke Shop. Now I'm not calling you ever again.
But if you want to enjoy Interspace Cavern, it's off of I-35, just north of Dallas in Georgetown.
You mean north of Austin?
Yes. Sorry.
Nowhere near Dallas.
I'm out of it.
Jeez. Get you some more beer.
5 beers. I need 5 beers.
I swear, Famous, we're really good at this.
What month is it?
The year. But that's enough about stalactites and stalagmites and.
Yeah, let's get on with this. I'm ready.
We are here to talk about fun and sun and Texas. I mentioned that I picked the cigar because Nicholas is responsible for, co-responsible with JD and Saka and some other key players at Drew Estate. That's a beautiful smoke pouring off of that thing.
Yeah, it's definitely got the Liga smoke.
But the Liga Pravada 9 and the Flying Feral Pig are definitely in my top 10 favorite cigars. And much like that, tonight's director and writer of this film has written and directed a film that's in at least 2 of our top 10s, maybe 3.
Yeah.
On our website, if you go to our bios, we all did like a top 10 or.
I hope I put it in there. I think I did.
I think you only did top 5.
Oh, okay.
You want to be different.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know Mency and I I'm pretty sure Mincy and I had Dazed and Confused in our top 10 list.
Yeah, because it's one of my
you may have
all-time
actually.
influentials.
But Richard Linklater, of course, wrote and directed that film, and he's also written and directed tonight's film, 2016's Everybody Wants Some.
Everybody wants some.
You know, my retired character, remember I mentioned him a few weeks back? Scott, guy who really loves Van Halen. Before I did CSI Law and Order Suspect Guy. Am I in trouble here? You know what, maybe I should just talk to my attorney. Before I came up with that character, my most popular character I did was Scott.
And by most popular, his favorite.
Scott was this guy who just really loved Van Halen way too much. And basically he would only come out when I was driving and Van Halen would come on the radio. And no matter who I was with, I would just get real quiet. And like even in the middle of a conversation, I'd get real quiet and they'd look over me and I'd put one arm on my inner thigh, maybe a little closer to my crotch. And I'd just kind of start closing my eyes and just kind of feeling the music, which was dangerous when I was driving.
I was about to say, yeah.
But whenever they'd be like, "You all right?" or whatever, I'd be like, well, "Just give me a minute, man. It's fucking Halen." And I just really be into the song, and they'd be like, "Oh, you like." Well, of course, my wife, she's seen Scott so many times.
I can see why you retired.
Yeah, and honestly, I just got a kick out of it. But there was I got some accolades for it. He wasn't so big on Van Hagar. But he would still die hard.
Naturally, man.
I think we can all agree that the David Lee years were the best.
Yes.
But Scott felt very, very strongly about that. I'm not gonna mix words. Scott got into some fights over Van Halen. But anyway, he's retired.
He was a
now.
raw dog.
Oh, he's raw. He was very raw. And like I said, I workshopped that character for about 3 or 4 years, and I went about as far as I could with it. Rest in peace, Scott. Should we bring up the Buddha Remembrance for Scott?
No, we're not.
Van Halen guy?
Buddha Remembrance for Scott.
That's the biggest rise.
We can remember him without.
That was the biggest rise I've gotten out of you guys in a while. No. All right. Not big fans of Scott. But of course, the name "Everybody Wants Some" is taken from the I think it was 81.
Yeah, it was before 84.
Yeah, I believe. Well, the movie takes place in 80, so I guess it was probably 1980.
Yeah, because it was. I'm assuming if they were trying to be authentic to the 80s, it was in the movie.
Yeah.
So it
it was
had to have been there.
One of my favorite Van Halen songs.
Yeah.
I will admit I'm a big sucker for early Van Halen.
As you should be, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. I think we've had this talk up at the pub many nights when you're talking about classic American rock bands that maybe don't get talked about as much as they.
Well, because they just
As
never
they
lived
should.
up to their potential. I mean, and I know that's hard to say about a band that sold millions, made millions.
I wish I could be that big of a disappointment.
Exactly. If ever I wanted to be a disappointment, this is what you want to do.
You're
But to
the
me-
Eddie Van Halen of podcasting.
No. But I do think that they didn't live up to their potential. They were talented. Jesus, they were talented.
They were the Guns N' Roses of they
that's a
couldn't
good
survive.
comparison.
They couldn't exist together, and but they made when they were together. My God,
Beautiful music.
So and I'll admit I like some of David Lee's solo stuff. Yankee Rose.
See, I thought I did, and then now when I listen to Yankee Rose, I'm like, man, that is simple. Even with Steve Vai on the guitar. Dude, I
Yankee
love
Rose.
Steve Vai, man.
Yankee Rose rocks.
Yeah.
Just to get
Does it
Gigolo.
have to be complicated to be awesome?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. I might be thinking of This Must Be Just Like Living in Paradise. Which
That-
I love the hook. I love the hook of that
I
song.
like that video with him rappelling all over the place.
Just like living
He did kind of
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
as long as we're editing things out.
Say hello. Forget Scott. Say hello to Tut. He's a David Lee Roth fan.
Oh God, can you imagine if Tut and Scott got together?
Yeah.
Scott stabbed a man once.
Did he?
He did.
Oh my God.
He did. Am I in trouble here?
It was in a Whataburger bathroom.
I don't know what happened.
I should say it had nothing to do with Van Halen. There's some money traded hands. Some things didn't get delivered. Like I said, he's retired. I'm not revisiting that character. Let's just forget about Scott, okay? Can we just not talk about it anymore?
You're still talking about him.
That Whataburger bathroom was not just like living in paradise. But anyway, this like all Linklater movies, especially his period pieces like Days Confused, the soundtrack on this movie is
pretty cool, man.
chock full of 1980 stuff. So I'm sure we'll point some stuff out as it goes on. A little bit about Linklater real quick. I don't think maybe there's a current filmmaker out there that's more closely associated with Texas than Linklater. More specifically, along with fellow indie hero Robert Rodriguez, the city of Austin.
Yeah, and Linklater does a lot of work with the Austin Film Society.
He founded the Austin Film Society. But he's kind of the... It all goes back to him in a lot of ways, and he's never really went too far away from his home base. Beginning in 1991 with his Sundance sensation Slacker. Geez, remember 91? Where you could literally be a nobody, make a movie, put it in the mail, get into Sundance, sell it for millions of bucks, and have a career?
Yeah.
God, I was just late to the party. Good old days, man. Jeez. That doesn't happen anymore. But Linklater would go on to write and direct a slew of films. Most of them you've heard of or seen, but some of the big ones, Dazed and Confused, of course.
Yeah.
Before Sunrise and its sequels with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Waking Life, Scanner Darkly, the animated films, School of Rock, Bad News Bears remake, and I believe this last year he was up for an Oscar Best Director for Boyhood, which was a project he worked on over over a decade of filming. So my expectations were somewhat high going into tonight's film. Especially
Same here for me, because coming off of Dazed and Confused, which to me is such an epic one, and I tried to have the bar reasonably set because to me that is such an epic movie and it was so touching to me. I there's no way it could live up to that. I didn't want to put that on the movie. I was like, that's unfair to the movie.
You had to kind of temper it, but at the same time, you had to be kind of excited about it. I mean, it's...
Well, I mean, when you're billing the movie as the spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused, all right, I'm trying to temper my expectations, but you just obliterated that. You basically advertised it as everything that I'm supposed to be tempering.
I fought that same demon.
Yeah.
And I think you know it's the elephant in the room. You know, it'd be like John Carpenter coming back to make another slasher film about a guy in a white mask that takes place 4 years after Halloween. I'm gonna get excited about this. You know, nothing can capture your the place and time you were when you fell in love with a movie. Which I think one of the big reasons Dazed and Confused is special to us is because when we saw it, we were young.
Yeah.
And a lot of and we were watching same-aged people. Dazed and Confused came out 93, 94?
I think so, yeah, right after I graduated.
And I remember watching it ad nauseum on Laserdisc.
I think that's a good point. We were around that
we were
age,
doing the same thing that the people in the... We would watch Dazed and Confused and literally get into Cody's Blazer and cruise around town for... drinking for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that... It was that.
Well, that like with Dazed and Confused, it's that time, but it clicks with just anywhere you look at it and say, that's me right there. I know that character.
Yeah,
I know all these people.
Yeah.
And just I mean, what a casting, banana. It's a casting bonanza. Is what I was going to say.
Yeah. They were casting bananas.
It was bananas casting. It was so good.
Bananas.
But you mix in, that this is kind of billed as a spiritual kind of second entry in that same style of film by the guy that did that, and you give it a name everybody wants some after a badass, maybe one of the most badass Van Halen songs, according to Scott anyway. And 1980 classic, my ass. 1980 masterpiece. That was Scott. I think I can say we won't see a lot of them tonight, but I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Fucking song is timeless, just like David Lee. Sorry. So yeah, so we're all in the same headspace going into this film.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Real quick, first impression of the cigar. You just lit up.
I just lit up. Yes.
My first thing that I don't remember. I really don't remember much of anything when we smoked the first time. Usually, when you talk about getting a blast of something upon lighting, usually when you talk about getting a blast of something in the face.
There's usually a director there, some weird lighting.
It's usually
a lot of people around.
It's usually always spice and pepper.
Yeah.
Correct.
I got a huge blast of leather.
See, I was going leather chocolate.
Just like a overwhelming. Like I got hit in the mouth with a leather belt. Like it was really interesting. Like really.
What's your safe word, man? What's your safe word?
You know what Scott's safe word is? Panama.
Just
no, I did get a large leather hit in the mouth, but I also got some chocolate on it. It was kind of an interesting little side dish.
Yeah. So I'm right now. I'm just it's way too early to even talk too much about. We'll give you a little
draw,
time.
The smoke.
Oh, it's
great.
Just pluming.
So far, the starch is good.
Just smoke is all over the place over there.
Yeah.
Was it just me? I mean, before you lit up, I mean, did it smell? Did the cigar smell sweet to you?
I'm gonna admit I didn't smell the cigar.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, never mind then.
I was so hard up to light the thing and start smoking. I was like, just give me.
And I usually do. I mean, I certainly. You know,
I was trying to get the initial aroma. And
I usually do.
Just,
I don't know why I skipped it tonight.
It smelled really sweet to me. I don't know why. So now I have no one else to go off of. So I'll just. If you try it at home, folks, it smelled sweet to me.
Maybe you can.
You are hung out on that limb.
Maybe we can get the contact info for some of the professional tobacconists that Famous uses.
Top experts.
Who are these tobacconists? Top tobacconists.
And you can sit with them on a podcast. Maybe they'll live up to your high expectations.
You mean like being somewhat competent?
Oh, come on. We do things in our own special way. I will say this before we move on from the cigar real quick. The artwork on the band...
it is very nice. I will concur with you on that.
It's got like a traditional Nicaraguan, I guess, the El Güegüense...
Yeah, it's the actor.
Tribal mask from the play.
Yeah.
And just the color, I love light blue bands on cigars. I just think it always pops.
It's nice contrast.
It's a beautiful band. I really like the look of it. As far as the cigar, let's give it a couple minutes and we'll come back to it. We start things off with Everybody Wants Some. We start things off with young freshman Jake cruising along in his 445 muscle car.
442.
442.
Oldsmobile. Muscle car.
That was one of my questions. If any of you guys knew what kind of car it was.
442.
Muscle car.
Muscle car.
It is I got that right.
In fact,
muscle
it's
car.
too much for Jake.
It is.
Mr. 18-year-old college student.
You know he worked summers to get that thing.
It's not your dad's Oldsmobile. It's your granddad's Oldsmobile.
And that fucker runs.
Well, he pops. I couldn't tell. It was one of the very first cassettes. It wasn't an 8-track, was it? It was a cassette player.
Yeah, it looked like it.
But it was one of those big, chunky ones.
Oh, you could tell it was an aftermarket installation, totally.
Well, he pops in a cassette and it starts blasting My Sharona Kinks.
Yes.
As he cruises around a college campus. He's just now arriving at college a few days before school starts. And he immediately just starts, as we listen to My Sharona, scoping out all the awesome 1980 short shorts walking around campus. These babes are all sporting short
I'm
shorts.
going to say it right now. The best part about this movie is the wardrobe. It had so many awesome clothes in it.
Sure, Linklater will really appreciate that. Best thing about this movie was the short shorts. Jason Tuttle, Tuesday Night Cigar Club. No, there was. Just like Days Confused, those jeans the
it was like
girls were in there.
Yeah, it was like right on that cusp of you still had 70s fashions dominating because it's right at the turn of the decade.
And that's an interesting point to make because, a lot of people build this as he showed you the 70s with Days Confused. Now he's going to show you the 80s. No, it was 1980.
Yeah, it was like that
disco's still
transition
around.
there. Yeah.
this was by no means a encapsulation of the 1980s.
Right, you're not going to see Max Headroom
This is
and all
literally
that stuff.
just 4 years later after Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's giving you the quote unquote the transition.
Yeah.
The transition
High
period.
school
It's
into
1980. I mean,
And that's a good point. This is going to show us. We got up to the end of the last day of high school with Dazed and Confused. This is the leading up to the first day of college.
Yeah.
Well, he's cruising around checking out all the girls in their shorts. The date is August 28th, 1980 to be exact. Just 3 days before classes are to begin. He arrives at a rundown house on campus that is home to the school's baseball team. Upon entering, there's a big 2-story house. Think like the party houses in Revenge of the Nerds and all
yeah,
that.
just the
big
frat houses
house
type. Yeah.
There's a big hose running from outside up there, and there's water.
Craftsman 2-story.
Somebody watches way too much House Hunters.
it was good.
It was good. It looked like a party house.
The Tuesday Night Cigar Club are in Austin looking for a new home.
Can they balance their Tut's love for Victorian homes versus Matt's love for Tudor style?
You said Tudor.
I do like the Tudor style homes.
And I have to listen to this.
If I got you the materials, could you build a facade in the front of my house to make it a Tudor house?
I can do lots of things, but I won't.
What do you like, colonial?
Yes.
Damn it. You know who else like colonial style homes? Scott.
And the weeping begins.
So you got the garden hose swinging.
So
there.
he sees the garden hose hanging from the outside. It's leaking, and the ceiling is creaking as if something heavy is,
actually like just does this.
as if something's about to fall through it. He goes into the kitchen where he comes across his first couple of fellow players on the baseball team. The nicely mustached McReynolds and his buddy Roper. They yell at him immediately to go outside and turn off the goddamn garden hose. And as he's doing it, they open the fridge, get a couple Schlitzes out, a couple bottles of Schlitz.
Schlitz.
That was the first thing that kind of made me smile. Just the college fridge.
Yeah.
There's like three Lone Star cans, some Schlitz, and like a jar of mayonnaise. I was like, all right, that rings. That was really ring close to home. Substitute Schlitz with Keystone and mayonnaise with cocaine, and you have Scott's fridge. But yeah, that looked realistic enough.
I find Scott.
I'm thinking Scott's like an alter ego that Kate just blames
Like
everything
Fight Club?
on.
It's my imaginary alternative personality. No, Scott's real.
First thing about Van Halen concerts is you don't talk about Van Halen concerts.
Except the fucking 5150 show. Intense. See how the hand goes down there into the inner crotch?
Scott.
So he runs out. Jake runs out, turns off the hose, and comes back inside. These dudes ask him immediately what position he's playing.
No.
When he says he's a pitcher, big turnoff. They don't like pitchers. And, not only is he competition, but they also tell him, hey, don't expect us to help you out in your transition here at college and all this, and on the field, because we might have to face each other in the pros someday. So, don't expect any kind of cooperation. But it's so lighthearted. It's not like these guys are bullies, and like we've seen in some of the other movies, like everything just has this big cloudy sense of fun like
they're just busting balls.
They're just you just know immediately without knowing these guys they're busting balls, which is good acting for one and good directing to kind of.
But there's also a sense of they're taking the rooks and busting them down a peg. Because that's one thing where if you're talented and you go to college, because I remember when I went into college, and I was the new young stud on campus, and they busted me down because I had a huge ego coming out of high school.
This is the Keytar Club?
Yes, it is.
Who was busting your balls?
I was an opera major.
Opera?
Yeah.
There's. I know.
I've told you all this before.
No, I don't know how to respond to this.
Yax, I believe I would have remembered.
I know I've told you all this before.
I have not. You've never ever mentioned this before.
You went to school and did opera.
Yeah.
That
was kind of a big deal coming out of high school, and so
you were a big deal on the high school opera circuit.
I was. Well, not the opera circuit in high school, but
Who you were a big deal with?
vocal colleges.
I've never heard this before.
I would
It's all
remember.
new.
Oh wait, he just had to steal the spotlight from Scott.
Please,
Anyway.
keep talking. Take it away from Scott. Whatever.
Anyway, so that's what they were doing. They were just reminding this guy that he's no
So
longer
you're
that
saying
big
you got your
fish.
balls busted by opera singers?
Yeah.
I got hazed pretty bad by the opera.
Actually, two of them were all-state football players too.
And opera singers.
lineman.
One was a running back. The other one, I think, was a linebacker. No, you're right, lineman. Offensive.
Opera.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I apologize to our listeners if there's like a few minutes here where we're been hanging out with this guy for quite some time.
I know I've told y'all this.
Trying to wrap my mind around this concept of
I can understand if you did and I didn't remember. You know me when I drink.
Yeah.
This guy remembers everything. If you would have told us, he would remember.
I don't
I've told
remember
y'all
this.
Maybe I told Ryan.
You told somebody, not us.
Well, we'll get into that. Jeez.
We're going to halt the podcast while we talk about this for 4 hours. Excuse us.
Start doing more movies with sad clowns.
All right, we're gonna watch Godfather 3.
Oh, no wonder he
next.
hates clowns.
No, totally unrelated incident from my childhood.
Wow. Okay.
That's
But anyway, that's what they were
So-
doing.
But
They
it
were
was
dropping
but it was harmless,
yeah, but they were still sending a message.
and it was kind of like the older seniors in Days Confused when they were hazing the freshmen. It was hazing, and it was, but
It was putting them in their place.
it was harmless. You never got an uncomfortableness watching it. Like,
I don't know. Watching Ben Affleck
well,
with that panel.
Affleck was the oddity.
Yeah.
The other guys,
I don't know. During Mitch's scene, they are all going pretty.
but you didn't dislike the guys.
No, they never.
And I guess that's what I'm kind of.
Yeah.
Linklater knows how to balance the different
right.
characters to where you're not like,
You can,
all
be
right,
an
I don't.
you can be an asshole, but
Because-
you're not so much of an asshole.
Because you're going to have to spend the whole movie
that
with
the
these
audience
guys, and
hates,
if they're gonna, if they turn you off in this opening scene, then they got to rebuild it. He knows how to balance it to where you don't have to rebuild it.
I remember this one opera I was in where these three. Sorry, I had to pull a little Captain Freedom there. Thank you, Cap.
I'm going to cut you off.
The story's moving
Oh.
into the next zone.
You got to break in here on you, Tut. I would love to hear more about the opera days. Jake talks to them for a while. Then he makes his way upstairs with his big crate of vinyl records, and he begins to meet all the guys hanging upstairs. He meets Finn, Willoughby, Plummer, and Dale. Finnegan, or Finn, I believe our second nicely mustached player.
Finn, is that the guy who looks like Oil Can Harry? With the big.
No.
No. Finn is the
Oh.
lighter haired.
Coma.
No, Coma's Coma.
Oh,
Finn
okay.
is Finn.
Which one's Finn?
He's the
Finn
guy who
look-
tells
looks
girls
like
that he's got a little
McConaughey.
dick.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He is actually played by an actor I really like, and one of the few actors in this I recognized. Glenn Powell. Remember in Expendables 3?
Mhm.
He was the tech nerd
Yes.
that joined
Yeah.
the team.
Yeah.
He was also the standout guy in the Fox show Scream Queens, which Mincy and I loved.
Yeah, I didn't see
He
that.
was so funny in that.
Yeah.
And he's
I
really,
liked him. I
he's
liked
really
him
good
in
here.
this.
He's got a
He was
really
very congenial.
he's got a real likable
Yeah, you like him right off
screen
the bat.
presence.
Much like the what his character reminded me of. I don't know if it's too early to get into it, but the dude from Up the Creek, the older
The
guy.
Matheson character.
Yeah.
Yes.
He looked, late 20s, and he was
Yeah.
still in college, but he'd
But
certainly
he's
been
spouting off wisdom.
on the
and-
team for a while.
Yeah.
But they never made an issue of that.
No,
It's his 8th year with the
no. There was like that one deal from the cafeteria lady or whatever, from the
Yeah.
diner lady.
Yeah.
But she looked like she would say that to anybody. So
She actually looked
yeah.
younger than him.
You're still here?
But no, he was great, and he was one of the.
Yeah, he really was.
He was the only one of the younger crew in Expendables 3 that didn't make me cringe. When they were trying to.
Yeah,
There were so many non-actors or newbie actors, and he was really good.
yeah.
So I do like him. Glenn Powell, keep your eyes out for that guy.
Yeah, I think he's got a. He might be going places.
Well, they're all standing in this bedroom observing a vastly overfilled waterbed. That's
waiting for it to basically fall through the fucking
that's
floor.
What the hose.
As soon as I saw the hose attached to the waterbed, I was like, "Oh yeah!"
It was the source of all the leaking water that we saw, just waiting to burst. Plumber says that screwing on a waterbed is the shit because it's like having sex with a hot chick with a really fat chick underneath her. Which I'll just say for the record, maybe you guys have had different experiences, but fooling around on waterbeds is not fun.
It adds a degree of difficulty.
It's either A, you get caught on the side. And a lot of our younger listeners are going to be like, what are waterbeds?
What's a waterbed, man?
It was actually a bed filled with water that was very popular.
Amazing creation.
That had the sides of it that would just suck you into them.
You literally, people had to get killed in those things. I would wake up so many times just, not fooling around, but just sleeping. I'd wake up trapped in like the little, where the mattress would meet the side of the bed frame. And then every once in a while your heater would go off because if,
that shit got cold, heater, man.
And if it went out overnight, you'd wake up and on a freezing, giant bed of ice water. That was horrible. They were
awesome. They were so awesome.
I don't know if they still make water beds.
They do.
Do they?
Yes. I know some people fill them with sand.
Why?
And they say that's really, really comfortable.
How could you feel it was?
I'm getting a waterbed now.
I mean,
let's go in our guest room.
Are you?
I don't know. I've heard of people filling water beds with sand and enjoying it's like sleeping on the beach.
All right, sure.
I'm sure it conforms to your body and.
Sure.
I guess. I mean, are you trying to say maybe it'd be like sleeping on a beanbag or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's organic. It's organic memory foam.
That's what maybe. That's just sand seems like it'd be like.
I can see Uncle Billy here in his long johns sleeping on a waterbed full of sand.
No.
Anyway, so we've all had interesting waterbed experiences, apparently. Real quick on the cigar, the leather has been joined with some cedar and no spice whatsoever, but a little bit of creaminess to it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting almost like kind of a floral note, like
I'm not hitting that.
But it's reminding me a little bit of the experience that we had with it earlier, just from early on throughout, just a lot of flavors. And the leather is starting to give in to the cedar and something else I can't quite put my finger on. But
no, I think you were right with that cream part.
What do you think? You liking it?
I am liking it.
They list it as a full cigar, and I think fairly medium to full strength. I don't get too terribly on the strength meter from it.
No,
I would have probably listed this as mild.
Yeah, it's starting out. I'm not. No.
Well, for me, it's very medium for me. But as far as flavor goes, I'd put it in full territory. I mean, it's.
I'm definitely getting. I won't say like that sweetness that I smell that nobody else smelled, but I'm definitely getting a cream.
Yeah.
The leather.
Well, you boys know that's one of my
cream.
favorites in a cigar. If I can get a creamy cigar.
Yeah.
And so
I'm getting a little bit of a back taste of butter.
Seriously?
I will stab the person who says anything about butter.
No.
All right, Opera Boy, just take it easy over there.
I go 150% every podcast.
Oh, I thought that was you at the opera scene.
Oh, no.
I give my heart and soul to every single fucking opera we do. I was going to call you Mr.
And I'm not afraid to take on you bass singers.
I was going to call you, instead of Mr. Opera Singer, that was real clever. I was going to call you like an opera guy that I don't know any. Don't know if I want to know any. If I know you, that's enough.
That's all you need to know.
So anyway, they're watching this bed, waiting for it to fall through the floor, which thankfully it doesn't. So the boys drag Jake away. He's gonna do some. He says he needs to unpack, but as far as we can tell from his car and he just got this box of records.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of all you need. And a stereo. He's real proud of his stereo. But they cruise off to go grab some beers at the Jolly Fox.
Okay, now is this where are they scoping the chicks out?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna get to,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah. As they're driving to the Jolly Fox, real quick. I didn't want to mention this earlier because I didn't want to taint Tut's opinion of the film. Richard Linklater grew up in Huntsville, Texas.
Yeah.
And attended.
Yeah, I already knew this.
Attended
I
Sam
already
Houston
knew this.
State University, world-renowned Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, Texas. His mother actually taught there when he was growing up.
Yeah.
And not only did he go there, he played baseball there. And your favorite podcast host, also attended Sam Houston State University.
I knew that one was coming. Go on.
Yes,
Go on.
yes.
There is a legendary nightclub in Huntsville. Have you been? Did you ever go?
Which one was this?
The Jolly Fox.
No,
Where these guys are going.
I never went.
This was his little nod of the hat to Sam Houston. It was literally called the Jolly Fox. Believe it or not, when I was there was only about 3 bars there. There was a pub. There was the Jolly Fox, which was the big
And it's
dance
shenanigans.
club where everyone went.
Shenanigans.
And shenanigans.
Yeah. I went to shenanigans, played shenanigans. It was actually pretty fun.
Oh, I thought you were joking. I've never heard of shenanigans.
No.
It wasn't there when I was there.
It was there when you were there.
Shenanigans?
Yes. You just never left.
Yeah, because
Come down to visit. You would never leave your room. You just drink your 40s.
you were probably still there when I... Actually, you were probably still at Sam Houston when I played there.
And if you can imagine this, folks, I wasn't very big of a social creature in college. Would you say I was at home drinking my 40s?
Because the few times I ever got to visit you there was just literally a minefield of 40-ounce bottles. OE?
Yeah. They were actually 64 ounces. They had the handle.
Yeah, it was a jug of beer.
Yeah, I didn't go out very much. And I actually only went to the Jolly Fox, the most popular club, in 4 years, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a social animal.
Is it still there?
God, I don't know. I imagine so.
I'm going to go to the Jolly Fox then.
See
what all the hubbub's
I
about.
talk a big game about Huntsville and my love for Sam, but I honestly haven't been back once since I graduated. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing else but the college there.
I was about to say, you have to be
There is
going
a
there
giant
to get there.
statue of Sam Houston.
That is
That
true.
was the great erection of Sam Houston, they called it. That went...
Did they really call it an erection?
Yes.
Yeah.
The student paper.
The student.
That it actually was erected there when I was at school.
Yeah.
Me and a buddy, my roommate Scott. Now it's a real fight club. Did he have a roommate, Scott, or was that his? He drank so many 40 ounces, his personality split into another dude. After we left the Van Halen show, we went to their Right Here, Right Now concert down at the Woodlands. Kicked it back. We actually climbed up on the boot of Sam as they were building it.
Yeah.
It is the second largest freestanding statue of a person in the United States after the Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
So you got the Statue of Liberty and you got General Sam Houston. Way it should be.
Sure.
I want to do a movie where they come alive and General Sam Houston goes and just punches out the Statue of Liberty. Takes the torch and it's like...
Okay. That's...
And
I think...
Feeling the Johnson.
Okay. All right.
No, I love Lady Liberty. I don't know
Moving
why.
right along.
I don't know why I said that.
I want Sam Houston to punch Liberty right in the face.
I'm teasing. I love the Statue of Liberty. Well, who would he punch out then if the statues came alive?
It's like no other statues of that size.
What if him and the Statue of Liberty start doing it?
That would probably be a little...
That'd be awesome. Put down his rifle. She took off her hat.
Okay. This is getting a little bit too...
Let's see what's under that robe, Mama.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why he talked like that.
Well, he was Sam Houston.
Talks like
he can
Ryan.
talk whatever he wants to.
He'd have a big drawl, right? Country boy.
No, not necessarily, no.
Possibly. I mean, it could be.
Was she wearing sandals?
Sandals.
Yeah.
Toga. It's been speculated before.
podcast
She's
really-
naked underneath that.
She
toga.
is naked under
She's
there.
She's
Podcast
completely-
went weird.
Right? Well, I looked up from when I was sitting on his boot drinking a 40 ounce. I looked up him, and he's wearing pantaloons under his robe.
Is he wearing a robe?
Well, it's like a long jacket. It looks kind of like
It's
a
a
robe.
long coat.
Smoking jacket.
Smoking jacket.
From Smoking Enemies.
And
Dude had like 300 confirmed kills.
what? I would assume
They taught us that there on our first day at Sam Houston State University.
And the indoctrination begins.
He wasn't a pussy like Stephen F. Austin.
Thinker, lover, not a fighter.
That's where they teach you opera.
And forestry.
In forestry.
in forestry.
Yeah, those opera singers love their wood. I did not mean that double entendre.
You totally did.
Anyway, Linklater's a Huntsville boy, and it was a Huntsville boy.
Huntsville.
And it was cool to see him name the place the Jolly Fox.
Yeah.
I don't remember it looking. I think they built a fake one, but
Yeah.
well,
I'm sure it's been redone.
well, they did
'cause this
film.
was like
I
real
did see they did
70s.
film some things in Huntsville,
Yeah.
but I don't think the Jolly Fox was one of them. At least from the 2 times I was there and drunk in the late 90s. So as they cruise along, head to the Fox, they're listening to Grandmaster Flash's The Message, and they're rapping along to the lyrics. Usually, guys, I hate that in movies. Wasn't it The Message?
No, it was Sugar Hill Gang.
Rapper's Delight.
Rapper's Delight.
Rapper's Delight. You're right.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call.
That was my Stephen F. Austin education kicking in. My operatic studies.
It was Rapper's Delight. I'm sorry. And they're rapping along, and usually, guys, I hate that in TV and movies where white people rap.
I
hate it. Like, it's a huge turnoff for me. They do it all the time on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. The guys will sit around like rapping about the girl, and I just want to blow my goddamn brains out. I just hate watching white people rap, and because they think they're so funny, and they, especially the worst is when they think they're good at it. Like, you got to hear me rap. I'm really, oh god. But these guys are having so much fun.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it.
I do hate that, and even in this scene, I was like, it's tweaking a nerve. But I give it a pass because who hasn't done that? Who hasn't rapped along to whatever?
I haven't.
In the car with your friends?
Cody, I know, hasn't.
No, I'm.
Oh
not.
man, we'd slam out Chubb Rock left and right, man.
And there's someone else I'm pretty sure has never. You might know him. His name's Scott.
I could just picture JD going, Chubb Rock. Really?
It didn't bother me at all in the scene. Like, they were just having so much fun.
I just pictured that's what
And
that's what we were doing.
I put it in the
back then.
context that rap was so new
Yeah.
in 1980
Oh yeah. I mean
that they probably did have kind of fun with it because it was something unlike anything they'd ever heard before.
Well, you got even though that in white realms, Rapper's Delight is credited with really popularizing it, which it did, or kind of being the vanguard of rap. Well, no, it wasn't the vanguard. Rap was really kind of picking it up. In Brooklyn, I learned this from JD, my man, Jonathan Drew.
African Bombada.
Uh-huh. But, Rapper's Delight kind of popularized it with the white kids.
It was very accessible.
So you had Rapper's Delight and also Blondie when she was doing da 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 da. I can't remember that song. But those were the first two that really... Rapture. That's right. Those were the first two that really kind of popularized it in the white community. So, yeah, that was the very time center.
But it was a fun scene that it did not make me want to kill the white people enjoying themselves rapping, which it's a testament to it, because usually that just drives me crazy.
Now, I'll address the end credits after this, because I have a different story on that.
Okay. Well, they take in all the female eye candy, inviting them to a party at the baseball house that night.
Anybody recognize the camera shots? Straight up, Dazed and Confused, the GTO cruising through the...
Yes, very much McConaughey...
cruising through the...
Sonic.
No, there was a scene when they show... It was a high dolly, and it was when the GTO is in the opening credits or the opening scene of Dazed and Confused. It's got that beautiful orange GTO that's cruising through the high school parking lot. It was almost the exact same camera angles as they were cruising through the college parking lot.
Okay, so I didn't pick up that.
Yeah, he reused
it. Sure reminded me of Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, there was a lot of shots that if they were not remakes, they were real close.
Okay, so well, some girls, they just honk the horn and yell out tits, and testament to Linklater, they don't come across as, if I saw a guy doing that now, you'd be like, what a dick. But these guys, and even the girls, I think, call them dicks.
Yeah,
and flip them off. Some girls like the attention and accept the invite. two girls are really hard to crack. They're flirting with him, and they're not having any of it.
They're feminists.
But the one girl says, you know, if you really want to know, I like the quiet guy in the backseat.
Talking about Jake.
Freshman. He gets a big head.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that he's like, hey, I'll buy the first round of pictures if you loiter a little bit so I can spy which dorm room she's going into so I can stalk her later. The Doctor style.
And then, of course, my favorite character out of this movie, Finn. Yeah. He's like, it just went from cute to restraining order.
I was about to say, that was like one of the best lines in the movie. This thing just went from cute to restraining order.
Did people talk about restraining orders in 1980?
Probably. I don't know.
I think that struck me as, I think that wasn't something somebody would say back then.
Yeah, now that you think about it, no.
No.
But it was a good line.
It was a great line.
Yeah.
It was a very great line, but one that we've, I think, said to the Doctor a few times. But I don't think that was a common thing.
No, I don't think that really kicked in until the early 90s, actually.
When the Doctor went off to Poughkeepsie State University. Imagine that. Is it Poughkeepsie State?
I think so.
Close enough.
Is the Poughkeepsie Institute of Technical Science, the Pits. Well, they finally get to the Jolly Fox and they start chugging pictures. Man, I tried to get us to do pictures tonight here on the show, but it's kind of warm in the corner of No Hope. It would just be a big condensating pool and we'd have to pour like all the cans into it. It'd just be a big mess. But you know what? I don't drink enough from pitchers anymore.
No, I brought back some college days.
Everything's so pint centric in our world now.
But in college,
if you're going to get something of mass quantity, it's going to be like a bucket of beer.
Yeah. That's true. But remember,
I love pitchers.
Even in college days, it was all about the pitchers.
Even up till
$2 pitchers, and it was
even up till a few years ago. Yak Boy and I would every once in a while, even though he owns, a pub with delicious craft beer and O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown historic Temple, Texas. Every once in a while, we'd just text the other guy or call the other guy like, "It's pictures before we go to the pub for cigar night." I'd be like, "You want to go to Bums and get some pictures?" There's a sports bar that I used to bounce at right after college in Temple, and I'd be like, "Yeah." So we just go and sit there because the only place you could smoke and drink. And we'd just sit there and get 3 or 4 pictures, and there's something about pictures.
Now that being said, when I was out at Los Gatos outside of San Jose this weekend, there was a pizza place there that still served pictures.
Pictures of
good stuff.
Really?
Now, it was expensive as all fucking get out.
I'll be like at O'Brien's if they did pictures off that wall. Oh, man.
That'd be something that Ryan and Cody would love to do. They're like, "Oh, you want to pay for it? Sure."
$36 picture.
Sweet.
I'm used to something more in the $5
the $2.50. The happy hour college pitcher.
I bet you couldn't smoke at this California.
Oh, hell no.
Did you have one cigar the whole time you were out there?
Did you see anybody?
No, actually, I never saw anybody smoke.
Sad.
I didn't even try after the Seattle incident. I was just like, fuck it. It's California. I'm not even going to try it.
So they're sitting around chugging pitchers. They're busting each other's balls, and
now I will say this: on the entrance to Jolly Fox, there was a little bit. I started getting a little bit too analytical and critical because the entrance to what's the club's
Sound Machine. The Emporium and Dazed and Confused.
The Emporium and Dazed and Confused when they were doing the slow deal. There was kind of that, and I almost started going, he's just. But there's only so many ways you can film the entrance.
But it was nowhere near a slow motion dramatic entrance as Wooderson into the Emporium.
Yeah.
No, these guys just walk in as a group into this pub.
That was me getting a little too anal on it.
Well, they're busting each other's balls and sucking them down, and the pitchers, not each other's balls, sucking pitchers down, and
they were feeling the Johnson too. Oh, wait, no!
Don't stop with these innuendos. What is going on?
A handful of other players shows up after a day of bar hopping, and they grab some mugs and join in. It was another great memory of just day drinking, jumping around from bar to bar.
Oh, day!
Because in college, I would drink some 40 ounces in my bathroom, and then I'd hop out to the kitchen, drink another one, and then I'd make my way in the living room and have one. Like, it's kind of like the same thing, bar hopping.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
I'm going to just go ahead and say it right off the bat. It is nothing like
I'd go into my bedroom closet, drink, and cry for a while.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly the
It
same.
is.
Well, it's better. It's it's.
I'd look out my mini blinds like carefully because I didn't want too much sun coming in, and I'd see like other college kids driving around, and they were bar hopping.
It was a little bit challenging in Nacogdoches because there was only like 3 clubs there. So
that was the same there, but I equate to like Yagboy went to College Station to Texas A&M, where my then girlfriend now wife went, and you couldn't walk 10 feet without tripping over a bar.
yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
And that was very reminiscent of this. I'm sure it's much more regulated and no fun now.
No, it used to be basically you would just see like some empty beer cans in the gutter. Well, College Station, you just see an empty keg.
yeah, yeah.
Like literally, if you thought the cops were telling you, you'd throw a keg out the window of your truck.
Maybe you didn't notice.
Try to kick it under the seat. It's a keg.
Just sit on it.
You've
sit on
you've
it.
got the hose.
Put
in
a
your,
coat on it and sit on it.
the hose in your hand.
Who's that in the back seat with you?
Ralph.
Some glasses on the keg.
Those giant novelty sunglasses.
It's Antonio. He's the transfer opera student. He doesn't speak any English. All right.
Where do you think you are, SFA?
Everybody knows the top opera talent in the world go to Stephen F. Austin University.
Pavarotti did call it the Juilliard of the Southwest.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. I'm not making that up, man.
He really
That's
did?
the reason why I wanted to go there. I wanted to get out of that area.
Maybe he was paid.
This was literally like this was maybe he was, I don't know, or he was just being
Pavarotti
nice.
says Stephen F. Austin is ...
Juilliard
something
of the South-
Juilliard ... Southwest .
No, because when I was looking for colleges, I wanted to get away from Lufkin and my parents so damn bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to get as far as away. But then when I started doing the research, outside of going to the East Coast, this was it.
Well, if you went to the East Coast, you could be a famous opera star right now.
Well, and I'm not, and
I
I'm
was
here.
giving that to you.
I'm not, and I'm doing podcast with you. I totally hate my life choices. I have so
Did
made
you
the
say
wrong.
other than doing the podcast with me?
No, I said now I'm sitting here doing the podcast with you.
I was about to be like really touched. Like, you know what? If I hadn't ended up here with you guys in the corner of No Hope doing this podcast, I would consider my life a huge failure. But you saved me.
Well, I'm contractually obligated to keep doing the podcast. Otherwise, I would, yeah.
Pavarotti ever say anything about us?
No. He was into young boys, so maybe he did. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'm not. No, he wasn't a pedophile, but he was gay. Not all gays are pedophiles.
Pavarotti, the big fat one?
Yeah.
He's gay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that common knowledge?
I'm pretty sure he was. At least that's what he told me.
He told me he was into young boys. But then again, I was 7. What did I know?
I had a lot to drink that night. It was awkward.
He was giving me wine out there. I'm like, shit. So these other players show up and grab some mugs and joins in. One guy, is it Nesbitt?
Is that the old Ken Harry
The
dude?
real skinny,
Yeah, with the little
scrawny
skin.
guy. He actually just grabs a pitcher and starts drinking straight from it, Cade style. I like that. I mean, I wouldn't like it if I'd paid for the pitchers, but eventually they go back to the baseball house where they have a meeting led by Coach Gordon, played by an actor named Jonathan Breck. While his face might not be noticeable, do you guys know who this guy is?
He's the dude from Dazed and Confused. He looked like the one that, of course, all coaches look alike.
Yeah,
to me.
he has a great coach look, but no.
Yeah.
He actually played the Creeper in the Jeepers Creepers movies.
I don't think I saw it.
Really?
Oh, the first one is a phenomenal monster movie. The second one's terrible.
Okay.
But he's kind of an iconic in the horror world, kind of like Kane Hodder or whatever. Like
Yeah.
he really brings some personality to the behind inches of latex, and that's kind of his most known thing is he plays the Creeper in the Jeepers Creepers movies. I did not recognize him and say, yeah, it looks kind of like the Creep. I just happened to stumble across that.
It just reminded me of
All these
the coach. I just want you to know when you're out there all summer chasing tail.
Yeah, it was, he nailed it. I mean, speak monotone and
Yeah.
Kind of have a all business, but a little aw shucks. I'll look the other way to you.
Yeah.
You kind of nail all.
Well, the funny thing is that he's doing the coach deal, and he was like, McCrell, do you have something you want to say? Because he can't, direct. It's the off season technically, so he can't be.
He's NCAA rules. He's not telling them how to practice or what to do.
Right, but then he was like, McReynolds, you got something you want to say?
It is Friday, and that's Sunday. They're going to have a voluntary, which McReynolds lets everyone know it's
By
mandatory.
voluntary, I mean mandatory.
Impromptu scrimmage to see what everybody's got in them and all that. But we got a couple days to worry about that.
And apparently, this baseball team is hot stuff. I mean, they're going after the national championship.
This is very reminiscent of Sam Houston.
Yeah.
He's like, our football team never does shit. Our basketball team sucks.
Yeah.
We are gods on this campus because we actually win every year, and we at least get to the playoffs. So we kind of run this town, and they're not at UT or A&M, but they are the best that this college has given the resources they have available. I don't know what the name of the college is.
It was the Southeast Texas Cherokees.
Southeast Texas, the SETC.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, wow, this doesn't look anything like Southeast Texas.
No.
But no, it makes sense because SFA had a decent baseball team. And yeah, you're right.
Sam Houston, too. Sam Houston was a big baseball school.
Your football team's not doing correct. And even though it's like the moment the football team does good, everybody forgets the fucking baseball team. But until that football team gets good, we love the baseball team. Sam
Houston has always had a really good baseball program. Did Stephen Boston? Y'all never actually had a football program, though, right?
Yes, we've had a football program.
Oh, okay. Wasn't aware of it, I guess.
Yes, you were. You always talk about how we were the biggest rivals, and I was like, really?
I should mention to our listeners and our viewers, Tut's Opera School, Stephen F. Austin, and my school, Sam Houston, are apparently the big rivals. Only we're two very apathetic schools who really don't take these things very seriously. When I informed Tut that he was my rival, he didn't even know what I was talking about.
I did.
But they do have the Battle of the Piney Woods every year, which is a football game between our two schools. We set attendance record last year. 75 people showed up.
Nice.
Yeah. Mostly parents. But anyway, I bust his balls a lot about Stephen F. Austin, so... I'll stop someday. Well, the coach
win.
Never. The coach he tells them that there's no booze allowed in the house. They get kind of grown a little bit because the city donated these houses to the baseball team because they're so awesome. It's like part of their rules: no booze in the house, and no girls in the bedrooms upstairs. He can't have this program he's built up taken down by a piece of poontang.
That's what really reminded me of the Dazed and Confused coach. Can't be having this program taken down by some poontang. Now I want y'all to think about this while you're out there chasing tail all summer.
You're allowed to have girls there downstairs, but you can't take them upstairs, and no booze. Well, looking around this room of 18 to 21-year-old players.
Well, and people forget that it is at that glorious time when 18 was the legal drinking age.
Yeah, was it? Yeah,
yes.
They didn't change it.
Well, but it's very clear looking at these guys. Not only do they not look 18 to 21, they look, most of them, older than 25.
Yes. Yeah.
But let me just real quick. I remember, you're talking about this different era. I remember being a freshman in high school or even middle school and looking at some seniors in high school. And they had mustaches.
Yeah.
They had kind of weathered faces. I guess it was because everybody smoked cigarettes.
Yeah. It could be.
What kind of loser grows facial hair in high school?
That dude.
I think I've referred to you as Yak Boy at least a dozen times so far tonight. Our friend Cody Leschker got the name Yak Boy because he could grow glorious Kenny Rogers-esque beard as a sophomore in high school, which... didn't hurt buying beer.
It did not.
Flat out helps.
Go down to your local Goodwill and find a used work shirt. Man, they do not question you whatsoever. My name was Phil.
Yeah, that beard was our best friend.
Great. Now
I mean, you were our best friend.
Now we've got Mad coming after us. They're promoting drinking.
No, the weekends that sucked were when Cody was busy or he was
It
out of
always
town.
sucks, man.
So
When
I
your
had
beer
I
connection
had
runs
to go
dry.
in. I had to go into the convenience store, and my only shtick I had because I couldn't grow a lustrous beard like him was my uncle was president of the Vietnam Veterans Association up in Ohio, and he sent me this golf shirt. So I'd put it on. It had the big Vietnam Veterans logo on it, and I had a camouflage ball cap. And I'd go in there and I'd take the beer and I'd put it on the counter. Just kind of, I wouldn't make eye contact. I just kind of look down. And
That's called a pity sale. That's where that cash register just like
the cashier would be like, you got an ID on you, or I'd be like,
lost it in the war.
I'll see. I'll be honest. I didn't think I was gonna make it in here at night, but this is the only stuff that can get me to sleep. And it never worked. I think one guy did give me a pity sale. Like, this dude went and got this shirt. He's got the glaze in his eyes. I had a glaze over my eyes because I was going through withdrawal. I needed beer. But no, I had a few pity sales, but you miss every swing you don't take,
Wow.
or some motivational thing.
Burning
like
this cigar down like nobody's
you
business.
went fast. So real quick, and we're going to talk about the cigars. These guys do look way older, but I remember back in the 80s thinking some dudes were really old that were like in high school. Like they just seemed like they grew them different back then.
Well, it's not that dissimilar from today. I mean, when I'm walking around on campuses and I'm looking at the girls, and I mean,
even Cody's brother though, Ryan, who was a senior when we were freshmen. Just real hairy chest, and he just looked older. He looked like he was in his 20s in high school, and a lot of his buddies did. I don't see that so much these days. Maybe it's just, I don't know what's different, but
maybe because we look at 20 as young.
But it didn't bother me in this movie.
No.
I wasn't. Usually, some movies I'll be like,
it wasn't like John Travolta playing an 18-year-old.
It wasn't like 90210 where you're like, oh, look at the freshman girl, she's clearly 35 years old.
Or look at Luke Perry, he looks 47.
Hey, we don't talk ill of Luke Perry in the corner of my head.
Dylan.
Biggest missed opportunity, Hollywood-wise. That guy was a gem, and I still say he could have gone on to a lot more than he did, which is nothing. I like Luke Perry. All right.
Nah, man, he had that role in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He did. 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
Played Lane Frost.
He was great in 8 seconds, man.
He was great in 90210. He should have gone on to do other things. Nobody gave him a fair shake.
Nah, that sucks because they gave that Jason Priestley kid shakes. Or they were just shaking him.
They shook him all over the place. Anyway, so that did not bother me. But I just think it was something about the late 70s, early 80s. I think it might have been just all the smoking and drinking these kids were doing.
It could be. Yeah, it
now
really
we
could
don't
be.
let kids smoke cigarettes, and God alone, you try to keep them drinking, and they age, smooth, no crow's feet.
And that was before
they're
the
not
time.
hacking up,
And that
phlegm.
was before the time of, keeping skin cancer scares and keeping them out of the sun, and everybody wears suntan lotion.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, the computers weren't around, so everybody was outside. That sun will do really crazy things to skin. So
it sure does. Everybody, it's summertime. Lotion up out there.
yes, skin cancer is real.
Cody, you're a big believer in moisturizing.
I am.
He's been a big proponent of moisturizing since I met him. You got to moisturize.
You have to.
You have to.
It's required.
TNCC is pro sunblock, pro moisturizing.
I moisturize quite often at night.
You know who did not moisturize?
Who did not
Scott.
Scott.
Son of a-
Well, that night the guys head over to another club, Sound Machine. And before we get to Sound Machine, because Sound Machine has that entrance is very Dazed and Confused inspired. You're about halfway.
A little bit
maybe
more.
over.
I
You were
am
just
just
going crazy
flying
on that
through this
thing.
thing.
I'm about 40%.
I'm with you. I'm about a third into it. I'm finally getting that chocolate you mentioned.
Mhm.
I didn't get it at the front. I'm getting it now. About a third of the way into it. Still leather. Still some cedar, but the cream is now right where I like it, and the chocolate. Whatever that floral thing I was sensing is gone.
I think that might have been actually influenced by the beer.
It could have been. There is a kind of a, not a citrusy, but a kind of a floral element.
There's a little citrus.
Are you getting some
in the
citrus
beer.
from there?
Yeah, totally am.
And once again, I'm not sure if that's the beer or not, but very much the cream, the leather's still there. I am getting that chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yes.
Yeah, I really am. And unlike, because I do remember the cigar from the first time that we did, and it had transitions all over the place. It
Every
was
10
like
seconds.
It never settled in on a flavor, and I liked it because it was a complex cigar, and I didn't want to rag on it too much, but it was just too many transitions.
It was almost
for me.
too complex because we couldn't put our finger on anything
as
because
soon as
the minute you found something, it changed.
Yeah, and especially if it was a flavor you liked, you're like, oh yeah, here we go, and then it would change right off of it. This isn't doing that.
I
though.
wonder if that's because of such a big ring gauge on what we had.
Oh, yeah.
Or two, more than likely, those were fresh off the truck. Like they had just got those on the shelves.
Oh yeah, good point too.
These have had a while.
Yeah.
And to settle.
Yeah.
And it is still complex as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, we're listing off things right and left, but they're sticking around for a while.
Right. It's not just this one transition phase after the other. So you really have a good flavor presence to the cigar, and it's staying with the cigar the whole time.
I'll be honest, I haven't had a cigar with this many nice, interesting transitions since that first Sobremesa we reviewed on the show. That was the same way. It would give you something really cool and stick around for a while and then go to something else. Like we've learned over the last few weeks, that's a very hard thing to come by, a complexity that delivers. And, we've had a lot of cigars lately like, it was a really nice taste. That's all it was that one taste.
And I really like it with the Uncle Billy's because you've got that citrus and the floral hints from the pale ale, and it's providing a nice a sweetness balance to the cigar. So you got that nice leather cream and the little hints of chocolate every now and then, the cedar to kind of spice it up, but then you got the sweetness coming off of the back end of the beer, and it's really providing a good cross palate reference for you.
Well, I'm going to give
I really like it.
I'm going to give Cody props for that because we were originally talking about doing the St. Arnold Summer Ale?
Summer Pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by all accounts, was a fairly straightforward Pilsner.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple of those lately. We're like, God, we should have picked a more interesting beer to bring something to the party. We've picked some safe beers thinking we didn't want it to compete.
Right.
And it backfired on us.
Right.
We're like, man, that could have used something to play along with it.
Yeah.
This is a home run so far.
I think so.
Yes.
I'll go out. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, we just don't. Has been the kind of the track record. Is sometimes we get the beer and it's completely overpowering.
Right.
You get that cigar and they say it's full flavored and strong and these you're getting none of that because your beer is like just knocking it out of the park. And if there's any flavor in the cigar, you have no clue.
Yeah.
But this right here, you can actually taste both separately.
And I think in the way that they play together, it works so well. I'll go ahead and say it and be bold enough to say this is my favorite pairing of the year so far.
Wow.
I mean, I like the 1502. That was a nice cigar, but this cigar, especially with this
was a
beer,
nice pairing. It was a good cigar. Mm-hmm. But that pairing worked really well, the 1502.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Whereas this, I think, standing alone, they're both excellent. Great beer. So far, a really great cigar. But take it up a notch. Their pairing just awesome together.
And maybe it's just because I came back from Cali where everything is kind of ratcheted up, and so now I'm just kind of like, I'm back in my Texas element.
We're back in the corner of no hope, my friend.
Back in the corner of
those
no
people
hope.
out there have too much hope.
Too much hope.
Ugh.
What's that going to get them?
They actually don't have any hope, but they have so much money they buy their hope, and it's
God,
weird.
I hope to be there someday.
I know, it was pretty awesome.
I've been house hunting in
I've
California
never, I swear, because this was right in Silicon Valley, and it was like I was in the episode of Silicon Valley. It was so fucking cool. I met the CEO of Firefox, of Mozilla. Dude couldn't have been nicer. Really kind of cool. Talked to a whole bunch of tech people that just made me feel stupid. I was just kind of like, yeah, I build websites. And they're like, oh, really? And then they would do their software development sling, and I'd be like,
Did he ask, since I'm sure you were wearing your Tuesday Night Cigar Club t-shirt, did he ask you about?
No, I was not wearing my Tuesday Night Cigar Club t-shirt.
What a missed opportunity.
It was. It really was. I mean, that's why we got this Tuesday Night Cigar Club t-shirt.
Well, speaking of Tuesday Night Cigar Club t-shirts, I just happen to be wearing one tonight.
The Doctor.
This one actually came from our website, which if you go to our homepage at the bottom, there's some previews. But if you go to, is it shop or store? Or?
Yeah, shop.
Shop. We now have several options. You can get yourself a doctor T-shirt like I'm wearing tonight. You can get the logo that you see here on the on the
they
front.
got a logo shirt.
We have women's shirts, coffee mugs. That's it, I think.
Yeah, that's it. For now.
We should have had bikinis for the summertime.
For the summertime.
Yeah.
The Tuesday Night Cigar Club banana hammock.
We do have unikinis and monokinis. But no, go there and show us your love. We don't make a lot of money from it, but we like seeing people out there wearing them.
And everything that you purchase goes directly to our beer fund.
It does.
And believe me, we have an expensive beer fund.
Good God, we drink so much beer. For you, to give you our valuable mixologist's input.
Man, we sacrifice.
At what point do we get certified as professional expert mixologists?
We should be top notch. Well,
we don't really mix anything.
Apparently,
Thanks.
Because somebody's holding us back.
What,
Cody?
What am I doing? I'm doing nothing. That's what I'm doing.
Didn't even know what crystal malt was.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was about to bring out the crystal malts.
Oh, really?
You have one roll. Well, you have a lot of rolls, but
What was the tobaccos in the cigar tonight again?
The la.
No, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
At least I looked it up and had done my homework.
I said your damn words.
All right, it's in there.
It's in there.
You rewind it.
Clatu Verao.
They use the Clactu Verata Nectu from Jalapa and the Exteli.
They should come out with an ash.
I'm sure they will. Well, no, the FDA won't let you do that.
Oh.
If it's not out next week at
Wait, no, because they have like the Sons of
IPCPR.
Anarchy cigar.
No, I'm just saying if it's
They
not.
can have like the. Oh yeah. If it's not out by next week,
Every
it's done.
cigar company.
Oh, thanks for bringing up that downer.
I'm not going to go into it, but they're the big conventions next week where they're announcing everything, and every company struggled to put out as many new products as possible because if you didn't do it now by August 6th, I believe, or 5th, you're not going to be you have the 2-year window for the FDA's deeming regulations.
Do you think that Johnson would tell the FDA to back off?
I'm not familiar with Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. You're feeling the wrong kind of Johnson.
Gary Johnson, he believes in personal responsibility. He believes in lax.
He smokes a lot of dope.
If he's a libertarian candidate, yes, he would totally tell them to back off.
I hear
hope
people
so.
say that he's not libertarian enough, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't the year to concentrate on that.
Exactly.
This is the year you have a fucking chance.
Oh yeah, just like your Tea Party counterparts saying you're not conservative enough.
Hey,
you're
you know
gonna
what?
Bitch about
Gary's actually got a chance this year. Yeah, but he's not weird enough.
Thanks, ideological zealots.
In a sea of turds, this guy is the best we have with the resources available to us.
is the best you could do with what you have available.
Hey, we're not talking politics tonight. We're having fun in 1980.
It's just this dark cloud that looms,
I know, but anyway, you're going to see a ton of new cigars coming out in the next few weeks, and
which makes me excited.
hopefully we will bring them to you here on the show. We'll get to FDA doesn't, I believe, let manufacturers submit samples to us anymore.
Yeah, so all you
So
pricks
buy
out-
shirts so we can buy cigars to show on the show. Otherwise, we're going to be smoking our own stash on here.
Yeah, that way. Oh, now that you're getting a big deal and you're getting cigars submitted, you're tainting your reviews. No.
We've had cigars submitted from day one.
Not only that, I've shit on a few of them to where some of those suppliers are like.
Many cigars that we've not had the fondest opinion of have been submitted cigars.
Yeah.
I think if you listen to us enough, you know we're
You roll the dice with Raw Dog here. I go 150% in every cigar review I ever do. I'm not afraid to take on the big boys.
we're way too lazy to put up any kind of effort to cloud our judgment and opinions. So they're now the guys are all arriving that night at the Sound Machine. This place looks just like the Emporium from Days and Confused.
Yeah.
Huge mural on the outside.
It's got big 70s
We do get a
letters and stuff
wide
like that.
pan, kind of slow shot of them walking into this place. But inside, it's very 1980, very quickly, as this is a disco club.
Yes.
Everyone is dancing to disco music.
You still got that back phase of disco kicking in there.
They are all disco dancing, and these guys quickly find suitable females. Hey, it's the baseball team. Saddle up, and they all just start boogieing their asses off.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty good dancers.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
I've always, I can throw this out there, I've always had respect for disco dancing. My uncle was not a world-renowned disco dancer, but he was like one of those guys where when he would show up at a party, to this day, like at a wedding reception or whatever, when they start playing, this guy, my Uncle Bill Cade, has moves, like disco moves.
There's Bill Cade on the dance floor.
He's a phenomenal disco dancer. I've always respected disco dancing. It's not easy. And, these guys all just, man, they're right to it.
Well, before I was studying opera, I had a career as a disco
I minored in disco dancing.
Oh, God. What sort of degree plans do they have at this school?
It's not a real school.
Anyway,
after a lot of dancing and a lot of shots, and they're drinking for free because they're the baseball team. They're getting free booze.
they got in for free. They're getting free booze.
free shots. The boys take the ladies back to the baseball house. Big no-no.
For some extra dancing.
They're
still dancing.
They're still dancing, but they're going to break Coach Gordon's rules.
Actually, they do. They actually try to follow
They try
the
to.
rules.
Jake tries it.
Finn sets up a bedroom downstairs to where everyone can have sex in this one bedroom. Not at once, but like take turns. But Finn ends up staying in there the whole time with his girl. So everyone eventually, slowly, you see them taking these chicks up the stairs. Big no-no. And our lovable freshman Jake, who's a kind of a wholesome kid, he met a girl at the club, and he's like, you know what? Let me go upstairs and I'll be right back.
Talk to his roommate.
Because he has a roommate. We haven't talked about his roommate yet. Buter, which isn't his real name. They gave him the name Buter because it was the most country bumpkin name they could think of.
This sucks. Come on, man.
And
cut the country folk some slack.
When Jake was walking to his bedroom to ask Buter to have it for some privacy, Buter has a girlfriend back home, and he just stays in the bedroom on the phone 24 hours a day talking to his girlfriend. But when you heard him talking to some guys in there, did you think for a second it was Wooderson, McConaughey?
No, not really.
It sounded.
So I guess all country accents sound alike.
Dude, it sounded so much like McConaughey. I thought they were bringing Wooderson in for a cameo. Like, now he's hanging out. 4 years later, he's hanging out with college kids. How great would that have been if he'd opened his door and McConaughey was in there?
Let me tell you one thing here, right?
Yeah, that's a cool story. I really did think it was him. I was like, oh, that would be so awesome.
We got this baseball team, right? We're going to go out here.
I'm working for the college.
Just get a little change in my pocket.
Trimming trees, picking up trash. I can totally see him doing that 4 years later. But no, it's Buter. And Buter totally cockblocks him.
Oh, it totally does, man.
He's like, didn't Coach say we're not allowed to have girls up here? It's like, because he's not getting any pussy.
Yeah.
So he didn't want Jake having any fun.
And I don't
either.
understand this adversary. I guess because they're both pitchers, maybe, and they're both kind of, in competition.
It's late on. Pitchers aren't friendly with other pitchers.
Yeah, because, he was a total dick, man.
Yeah.
When he was like, you know what, I'm tired, and I'm not going to break the coach's
Jake said
rule.
he just wanted to show the girls' record collection.
His incredibly big record collection.
Yeah. We see, like I said, if he can't get any, no one's going to get any. So Jake's like, God.
You're a fucking dick.
Yeah, this is really the first dick move of the movie. So he goes back downstairs, and it's kind of Jake takes his lady friend out to his car. He's like, well, if we can't do it in the bedroom, we're going to do it out in the car. And they proceed to get it on. And as they do that, it goes into this montage of guys taking girls into the bathroom.
Now, hang on. Because I had, thanks to Southwest and their snafu, my original plan was get home, get back to Austin, watch the movie. Why am I starting to slip into McConaughey? My original plan was to get back home and watch the movie. But I had to watch it on the plane in flight. So I was like texting Kate. I was like, I've got this lady sitting next to me. Are there?
He asked if
there
there's
any
any nudity, and I was like, there's a house party scene. That's the only one I could remember there being
Yeah,
nudity in.
so I basically had to cover my iPad.
Oh, so you didn't see any of the
I
nudity?
didn't see any of this.
That really sucks because it's a big thing I want to talk about.
Well, no, talk about it.
The editing
I
here.
want you to talk about it so I know.
he's out in the car with her and music's playing, a disco song. And other guys are taking their girls into closets. Other guys taking their girls in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
But there's nothing seedy about it. These girls aren't taken advantage of. Everyone's just up for having a good time. But the editing here with the music and the back and forth going between all the different characters and all that.
Yeah.
It's classic Linklater. And by that, I mean classic Sandra O'Dare, his longtime editor. I should mention, full disclosure, Sandra is my lovely Aunt Patty's cousin.
Yeah.
But I promise you, our loyal listeners, just because I have 1 degree of family separation here between the editor of the film and it hasn't influenced me. I've never actually met Sandra.
Yeah.
My aunt has tried to make it happen a few times.
Yeah.
She has been his editor from close to the beginning. She edits all his films.
I would love an introduction.
Well, let me meet her first. So I swear it's not, but you see it in Dazed and Confused, these montages, just expertly going from one character to the next. You never get to forget anybody because, boom, you're right there.
Right.
But not only that, but the movements, like the guy's hand coming up behind the girl's back with the swell, with the beat of the music.
Yeah.
Like she cuts to music so well.
Yeah, that's one thing I really
with
liked.
No dialogue going on. And when I say it's classic Linklater, it's classic Sandra because she does it time and time again.
Yeah.
And it just really had a really great vibe to it.
That makes a lot of sense because I think that as an editor, if you can cut to music if you can feel those transitions and the beats.
Well, she's
really
one of my favorite editors for that reason. She allows the visuals to just flow so rhythmically with the music. Literally, just she catches a movement on a character and matches it with an instrument.
It's CK.
It's spooky.
Everything in life is a pattern. It's a astrological pattern that when you look at it from the top, it's flat. But when you get down into it, it's a sphere.
Thank you for joining the Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Next time he talks like McConaughey, stab him with your cigar. Right in the ear. No, I don't want to mess up his opera voice. But no, it reminds me a lot of Sally Menke, Tarantino's editor through all his early great films.
Yeah.
She died, I think, 2 years ago. But much like Sally Menke, she kind of has this knack for breathing life into moments and creating these memorable sequences by just marrying image and sound and film.
Well, the good thing is I bought the movie, so I can go back and revisit this now that I don't have a...
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah, I went
good,
ahead and
good
bought
for you.
it. Yeah.
But these images, these montages set to that song live on way after the memory of the film lives on. Like, I can close my eyes and I picture Wooderson and the boys walking into the Emporium with Bob Dylan's Hurricane playing.
Yeah.
That's because of that, the editing with the pool shots and everything. That's how this fooling around
the foosball table cuts, all that. Yeah.
That's how this fooling around montage works just as well. And she just shows,
but it was done.
She shows off her skills in a good way. I mean, it's just that's what cinema's about. Telling you it's the difference between cinema and a stage play. An editor can tell you, look at this.
Right.
A stage you're this big and you don't know where to focus. Look at this until I just steal it from you and show you something else.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sweep it in with this, the song that was recorded 30 years ago or whatever, and it's awesome. And she just really did good. Real quick, you bought it on iTunes, I'm assuming?
Amazon.
You bought it on Amazon?
Yeah.
You rented on Amazon?
Yes.
We always like to tell you guys how we saw the film. I tried something new this... I illegally
No.
I was coming out...
I went to Flixbox.
I was coming out of
whatever that crappy place was.
Flix Frame or... Flix?
I don't even know.
Flix Fling?
Flix Fling, I think it was. Yeah.
No, I was coming...
Don't do anything from Flix Fling.
I was coming out of my grocery store the other day.
Yeah.
And
Impulse buy.
They recently put in a red box.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which I always made fun of the dude standing out front of 7-Eleven, like their arms crossed, waiting for the kid, their teenager in front of them to pick out a movie from the red. Never did, because I always had a video store locally that I could rent from or whatever. We don't have that anymore. But I was just like, all right. So I just start tapping see what the selection. I saw everybody wants some.
Yeah.
1 day rental, $1.50.
Oh wow, that's
Yes.
nice. Yeah.
How much do you rent this on Amazon for? $5, $6?
$3, I think.
Yeah.
Was it $3?
Yeah.
How much you buy it for?
I don't know.
Under 10 maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, $1.50 for a DVD for 1 day. So I was like, all right. Swipe my credit card. DVD pops out. Brought it home. Watched it twice for the show. Took my notes. Took it back the next day. $1.50.
Yeah, not bad at all.
So I still don't know how I feel because I did make fun of Redbox Fuel for a very long time.
What you do? Open the red box. Forever will consume your.
You know who's a big Redbox guy? Scott. Fucking Redbox, man. It's fucking convenient. I'm assuming.
Just don't acknowledge the character. Maybe the character will go away.
He's gonna take it beyond the point where
Do you
he should
guys
be
think I
dead.
should retire the CSI Law and Order suspect guy and bring Scott back?
No.
Or are we burying Scott?
I think we should just stop
I'm still not
altogether.
totally convinced that Scott's actually like a made-up character and not just some ripped-up psyche of yours.
Oh, I'm totally convinced this is Psyche.
I had a roommate for 2 years in college that no one ever met, and everyone was convinced that I had just created him like Fight Club. His name was Ripple. Did you ever meet him?
I
See, people like have that. Like,
I think I actually
I
did meet him.
Or was that Cade in a wig?
I think I did meet
Sometimes
him.
I'd answer the door with a wig on, and be like, "Oh, you're here for Cade? Give me a second." And then I'd run away and change clothes and come back.
It's totally you. No. I think I met him once, for all of 2 seconds.
He existed. Well, the next morning, 2 days now before classes start, I guess it'd be Saturday morning. The players are all laid out in the living room watching soap operas. Didn't you guys watch soaps in college?
Yes.
Yeah.
All three of us.
Yeah.
I was curious.
Totally.
I sure did.
What's I going to do? Go to class?
Well, my freshman year, I was there with a buddy of ours, now wife, Jama. She and I were the only two from our high school that went to Sam Houston. And after lunch every day, she'd run home and watch Days of Our Lives. It came on at noon. And I didn't know anybody else there, so I'd go with her. And she got me hooked enough to where, the second semester of my freshman year, and from then on out for 4 years, scheduled my classes. This is before DVR.
Your soaps?
I would make sure I could
around your stories.
my stories. I could race home and watch my stories. Damn you, Stefano. But yeah, I was the Days of Our Lives guy. What'd you guys watch?
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, I was young in the Restless and Days of Our Lives.
I
But
used
that
to-
was Days of Our Lives back with Bo and Hope. So I was early Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, Bo and Hope were still around.
Were they?
Yeah, Roman.
All right.
I used to do a mean Roman impression. Of course, I didn't know anybody, so it was just to Jama, really. Oh, come on, Christina. Right.
That kind of sounds like Scott.
Yeah, just don't go there.
At some
Ever.
point, Roman turned into another character, kind of like me and Scott. Like he got his head clogged over, and he turned into another dude. No,
No.
it was all Stefano. Stefano was responsible for everything. Damn you, Stefano. So after registering that morning for classes down in the quad, quad
Yes.
student center. I think if
Student
a student center is outdoors, it's the quad.
Correct.
If it's indoors, it's a student center.
Yes, I'll go with that.
Okay, they're down the quad. They have all the different, little government groups,
Yeah, I
college
was about to say,
Republicans.
this was where one of the things that I thought, aside from the wardrobe, which was very let you know what time period you are, and then the disco stuff and the music,
cars.
and to some extent the cars, but a lot of the cars were more 70s models or late 70s models. So and again, it's that time, it's that transition out on the ends of the decades. It's real kind of tough to tell what decade you're in because you have the fashion of the new decade starting to come in, but you're still dominated by the old decade, in this case the 70s. But it had the Carter people there, it had the Reagan Bush people there.
Yeah.
So this was like one of those early timestamps that really let you know what time period you're in.
Yeah,
Because that was like the first election cycle that I paid attention to, was the Reagan Bush one.
Oh, when you were in school.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, it wasn't when I voted. I mean, it was just
No,
the
it's
first
like,
one that
you
I paid
remember the
attention
1980?
to. No, it was just the first one that I
was
actually.
for Carter, damn it. Biggest mistake I ever made. Yeah, so they go to the quad, they register for their classes, and just hanging out more, and then they go to, they hang out some more at the house, then they go to the arcade.
Yeah.
Boy, some cool looking old game. Kiss pinball, and
there was one scene in there where Jake sees the chick who said that she liked the light.
He does at the quad see the girl who said the only one that she could maybe see dating is this quiet guy in the back seat, but he doesn't.
But he doesn't approach her. He just kind of
looks at her from afar.
Yeah. I thought that was a weird. I wasn't exactly sure what I was supposed to take from that scene. Nothing.
I don't think you're supposed to take anything from this movie. It's just a slice of
life.
Yeah. Don't read too much into it. Don't look for. Well, 30 minutes into this 2-hour film, speaking of which, and I'm getting the feeling at this point we're just going to hang out with these guys.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a big picture. I don't think there's a big message. I don't think there's a big. It's about a baseball team, and we're not going to get to see one game.
Yeah.
It's just hanging out with these dudes.
Well, if it's kind of like Dazed and Confused.
and it does this from the very beginning. Like, right when he shows up, Jake shows up, pulling in his Oldsmobile. It gives you the timestamp in the corner, like 3 days till class starts or whatever.
So you're counting down and
and so it's gonna be this 3-day period, but to do what? Like I said, like you just said, a slice of life. 3 days and before these guys start school, or from Jake, kind of maybe from Jake's perspective.
Yeah.
I
think mostly from Jake's perspective.
But I do
they're not
think
really very centric on Jake after that.
It's kind of like Mitch in Dazed and Confused, where you follow him a lot, but you veer away from him.
You veer away from him. There's so many other characters.
You see a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with freshman Mitch.
Right.
But Jake is your kind of your.
Which is something I want to get back to in our summation. But one of the things I will say is that I do think that Linklater does have some messages in these films, like with Dazed and Confused, the Wooderson living speech.
Oh no, we do get those speeches.
You get the speeches.
We do get speeches
here, and everybody wants some. But it's not like this is the point of the movie.
No, not at all. But there are some very Wooderson type life speeches by the stoner guy.
Stoner dude, yeah.
We'll get to those. But no, I think it's just hanging out and
well, and I would honestly say that the majority of if you're getting a message, especially in this one thus far,
you're imposing your message on it.
Well, no. What I was gonna say is Jake is your eyes into this new world, but if you're getting a message, or if you're gonna say you're gonna get a lecture, you're getting it from Finnegan.
Finn is the oracle, the wise older guy.
And he gives him all of those things. I mean, from the very get-go, he shows up with a fucking pipe.
Yeah,
which
he is smoking a pipe, not a weed pipe, a pipe.
Just a pipe, and that immediately imparts wisdom.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's who immediately I focused on. Like,
he knows. He's got a pipe. He knows.
He's going somewhere.
Keep watching that guy. Speaking of which, if you guys want to tune in to my sister podcast, the Thursday Night Pipe Club, we got new episodes coming out. I feel bad I haven't invited you guys on yet, but
gee, thanks.
It's a different vibe. We talk a lot about politics and opera and classy stuff.
Oh, really?
But man, it was cool. So you're absolutely right, and I say this, Mitch in Dazed and Confused, the young freshman, you kind of viewed everything from his wide-eyed, like, it's his first beer, it's his first joint, he's never hung around with people like this. Yeah. That's not Jake. He flat out, he's had weed, he's had beers.
Well,
within like, very short in the film, like when they're picking on certain players and things, you think he might be like, hey guys, he's our moral compass. No, he joins right in. Jake is not the naive.
Well, because I think that's a great little deal that you're not dealing with someone young and new to
he's
life
not the
experiences.
shucks freshman that Mitch was, which is great because it'd be just a redux of Dazed and Confused.
But it also points out that whole, all right, you're thrust in this environment of established people, established friends, and established cliques, and you're in that situation of who exactly am I? Because I still want to make friends with these people. I've got to, play baseball with these people, so I need to be accepted by them. But at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out who I am too. I thought it was a good balance.
It really was. And the guy who does
there.
Jake hasn't done a lot. I think he was on the show Glee.
Yeah.
Never watched it. You sing opera. You watch Glee?
I've never watched Glee.
Okay. That's gonna be our new thing.
And he was probably one of the closest, I guess, to the actual age he's supposed
Yeah, he
to
did.
play.
I mean, he still looked 20s, but he had that very youthful face.
Yeah.
I will say this during this scene where they're all hanging out. There's several scenes of dialogue now, here and earlier. Whether if it's the players calling out a guy at the pool hall for using the bitch stick, the thing you put on the table to help you hit.
Which I've had that
hit the long shots. Whether it's like that, or Finn's way of seducing ladies by claiming his dick is average size, and they're like, why would he say he has an average size dick? Like, you don't get it, man. They're all used to guys saying they have bigger dicks. You say yours is average, and it sets them at ease, and you have this. I think that this kind of dialogue, it makes me think Linklater maybe has a notebook going back decades of little funny dialogue exchanges that he had never got to use in anything else. Because that reminds me a lot of stuff like I wrote in my first film, Graduation Day, which was in my 20s. Like, you don't see that a lot in movies now, where just people just explaining things to other characters. Like, here's what this guy's doing.
Yeah.
Like, it came across as a very like early filmmaker, like Clerks type of stuff.
Right.
And I just had to think that he's probably been sitting on a lot of these college jokes and college things for years, and he's finally getting to pull out the notebook and use them. I could be wrong.
That's what I said. Like you said, it gives you that time. It gives you that time stamp, and it pops up every now and then throughout this film. Like, 3 days till classes start, 2 days, 4, whatever. It gives you that 17 hours, 13 minutes till classes start. And I think that kind of builds it in, and yet, because you are in this short framework, he shows up, and the great thing is he's going to be playing baseball, and the team itself, these guys automatically, some of them know each other, they've already been there. Some of the new guys, they immediately, they're going to give them shit, but they all realize we got to be teammates. We've got to live together.
Yeah.
I just thought that the conversation, the dialogue, it was crazy to me that Linklater went from an Oscar nod to this movie.
Really? All right.
I mean, he went from Boyhood, nominated for an Academy Award, to doing this movie talking about, dick jokes and.
But you can tell this is something he wanted to make. I respect
the hell out of it. The guy's always made the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah. Right.
Whether it was an animated, Waking Life, whether it was. The fucking Newton Boys about a bunch of Texas criminals nobody had ever heard of.
Yeah.
Whether it's all these, I wish I could, Julie Delpy, the After Midnight, the Before Sunrise, like, I mean, the guy's always floated to the rhythm of what he's hearing in his head. I respect the hell out of it. I don't like everything he's done.
Right.
A lot of it's not my cup of tea. But man, I love the fact that the guy went from his first Academy Award nominations, like, what are you doing next? Oh, a movie called Everybody Wants Some, about a bunch of dudes in the 80s trying to get ass. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, if I'd been sitting next to the guy when he's like, I'm going to make a movie about this, I'd be like, go on.
Yes.
Well, it's a difference, though. There is a difference watching this, too, and then we'll move on with the film, but it doesn't feel to me like him going back to the well.
Yeah.
It's not Clerks 3.
No.
It's not like I haven't had anything work out for me in a decade of filmmaking.
Right.
I better go back to Dazed and Confused because I had a lot of really good things with that. No, you just came off an Oscar nod. Now you're doing this because you want to, and there's a purpose to doing it. You're not just trying to relive past success. You got another story to tell.
Yeah. Okay.
I dig it. I there doesn't feel anything manufactured about it to me. It feels very organic and more than anything, it's like, dude, this guy can make movies that are just fun.
Well, and I think this is, something that it is kind of, he's doing a time period, his youth.
You could tell these time periods mean something to him. 1976, 1980.
This is definitely something to his heart.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, he's getting that And like with Dazed and Confused, that was his high school movie. This is his college movie.
Yeah.
But he's making, and like you just said, he's probably got a notebook somewhere of all these things he's written down. Of
And
ideas.
all filmmakers do, especially when it comes to a time period. You know, when I wrote, I mentioned Graduation Day, which we might have on YouTube one of these days.
Probably not.
Why not? We've been talking about it since we started. I'm gonna get that day. If I gotta film my TV and put it on YouTube, I'll do it. But that was a notebook of every idea, every funny exchange of dialogue I had with my friends.
Yeah.
Or I overheard people at the bar talking about from the time I was 18 to 22. And I had notebooks of it. And I went through a story and figured out where to fit them in. And then, you know, I wrote a script about my 80s as a kid. And I you can tell when a filmmaker's coming from a place that special to him, a time period that was special to him. And I just get that mid 70s to mid 80s was, you know, this guy was just, his memories of it are as fun and as vibrant in his mind as ours are when we talk about our high school times and our friends and all that.
Yes.
And it just makes it fun. I mean, I have fun watching these movies. Not in a fun TNA movie hot dog kind of way.
Yeah.
And I can sit back and watch a movie. I don't have to contemplate anything too much. I don't have to do anything more than just.
Well, you know,
I can relate to certain things here and there, and I can laugh here and there. I can.
And I think this is kind of his work with this is to me it reminds me of like Hugh's work for kids in the 80s. That, you know, you look at these characters on the screen and you go, I know those characters.
Yeah.
I know that guy. I know someone like that.
That is very good. The John Hughes thing is very good.
Because and you know, going back and looking at Dazed and Confused, you know, I mean, for myself, and especially because of his writing, I mean, I knew somebody like that.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I'm like, yeah, I know those guys and those guys. And you see the various cliques, and you see how they and they refer and reference them, and you're like, totally, I understand.
I think one big difference is in the John Hughes movies, those kids were always searching for something. They're always searching for a bigger,
right?
Like, a bigger life lesson, and this can't be all that life is. Whereas in the Linklater movies, they're just living in the moment.
Yeah,
correct. He's like you said earlier. This is just a slice of life. These are who these people are.
But Molly Ringwald needs to know that there's more past high school.
No.
She needs to know. You know, Ducky needs to know.
No, these people are just trying to get through Tuesday.
I think
they're literally going day to day. Like Dazed and Confused was 24 hours.
I think Linklater already answered this, though, in the scene in Dazed and Confused where the redhead chick was saying, you know, I refuse to believe that my life is just one big preamble to the future. I got to live in now. Right. And then Home Dude goes, I just want to dance. Yeah. But no,
I just want to sing opera.
But we need to move on because...
Did that ever happen in a Sonic parking lot?
Actually, yes.
Did you ever tell your friends, like, I just want to sing opera?
Actually, yeah. Actually, because in Lufkin, we still had the cruising going on in high school. So it's down around the mall, up Timberland, up around Sonic, and then back down.
Yeah, we had cruising.
But we do need to move on because I want to get through more of the story before I go into my criticisms, which one of my criticisms is about the identifiable characters of Dazed and Confused versus this movie.
Okay. Well, after another montage where the guys douse themselves with cologne, getting ready for the big night, including their wieners.
Which I totally love this scene because I'm like, I completely related to that scene. Like, just
including their wieners,
which was a total fabrication because that shit burns.
I was waiting for him to scream,
but he didn't. And I was like, oh, come on.
They're back off to the Sound Machine Club. Well, this night at the Sound Machine, the pussy isn't quite overflowing like it was the first night they went in. They're having a hard time getting girls. The whole vibe of the place is a little... Which, you know what? Friday night's a big night. All the new incoming freshmen were out partying. They're not hardcore drinkers, so they're probably at home nursing hangovers. This is for the more experienced guys like us who drank a little bit in high school, and this wasn't our first rodeo.
If you're coming straight from high school, you hit it hard that Friday night. You're inexperienced.
You're not.
There's going to be some after effects.
But that's good writing. The Saturday night is a different vibe that first weekend out. But the girls aren't, nearly as plentiful and aggressive as they have been. the weirdo pitcher who we haven't talked about,
Raw dog.
Jay Raw Dog. This guy was the only real stereotypical weirdo, and he's kind of the what was the guy from Napoleon Dynamite, the cousin, not cousin Eddie.
But again, that was one of the points of the movie.
Uncle
was
Rico.
That,
he had it was the only mustache that looked maybe fake. He had kind of a bowl haircut. Was always wearing headbands.
Yeah,
and he starts fighting the bartender who doesn't like the way he made was it Tequila Sunrise or a screwdriver. Guy put a lime wedge in it and it set this Raw Dog off. Starts insulting the guy's a Hispanic bartender, and basically he starts insulting him. You know, I'm a baseball player. You know, I rule this place. You're not gonna do anything. All of a sudden, the bartender he puts up with a lot.
Oh, he puts up a lot.
All of a sudden, he just jumps over the bar and gets the guy in a headlock. And basically gets all the baseball team kicked out. These guys were living on Easy Street. They had this bar in the palm of their hands. And this asshole...
Free entrance. Free drinks.
And this guy blows it all. They get kicked out. Bouncers push him out into the street. And so they ditch Troublemaker Jay. He's going to go home and do some push-ups.
They backed Jay.
They backed Jay till they were out in the parking lot.
And then
he was
once
like,
they were out,
where are we going next? Like, you're not going anywhere.
Nowhere, man.
You're going home. And he's like, I'll go home and do push-ups.
Matter of fact, I'll run home.
I'm going to run home.
You do that. We're going to the country bar. Was Shenanigans the country bar in Sam Houston?
Yes, it was.
It was country bar. How have I never heard of Shenanigans? I probably did hear of it.
You probably stayed away from it. It was huge. I had heard of it. I wasn't even going there. I had been there.
Man, you know, oftentimes I've even been asked, you know, by my wife, like, do you ever regret, you know, not... Because later on in college, one of my best friends moved there, Joe, and there's nobody more sociable than this guy. He's going out, like, you ever regret that you didn't make more friends? I don't have any real friends I made in college.
Yeah.
No.
And I didn't really... Like, do you ever regret that? And I was like, you know, I guess I was coming from such a kind of unhappy place in a lot of ways in high school. I guess having my own space, and my own ability just to not worry about getting in trouble and just having some drinks. And God, I had the glorious Laserdisc player, and I just sit and Friday night while they were at Shenanigans, I was at home watching Heat on Laserdisc for the millionth time.
It led you to this great career.
I wouldn't be here without those 4 years of Siberia. I mean, Sam Houston. But yeah, so they go to the country bar. One of my top 5 country songs of all time. I'm not a big country music fan. I do enjoy older country. Is playing "Driving My Life Away," Eddie Rabbitt. God, I love that song.
And the windshield wiper.
Tell me Fritz wouldn't do
He would do
phenomenal version.
Phenomenal.
I always have to resist the urge to ask him to do stuff for the show. It's like, it's a lot of work to record a song. And like, he does all of it himself. Like, it's a lot of work. But man, I always thought he would do really good. It plays from the jukebox, and you know, the friends are all riding electric bowls.
Yeah,
Shenanigans have an electric bowl?
I don't think they did. I could be wrong about that, but
And they shoot more pool. And you know, Jake feels really out of place, and he's never been to a country bar before.
Yeah.
And he's being looked on weirdly by the locals. Been there. Whenever the Temple had a country bar, Cactus Canyon, for a lot of years. I used to go there every once in a while. And man, yeah, there's nothing like being in a country bar where you're not really feeling it. But the California-born weed-smoking hippie pitcher, Willoughby, tells him to embrace his weirdness. This is one of our first kind of Wooderson speeches. Don't worry about what they think, because the moment you embrace it, what they think of you, and roll with it, you become who you really are, and that's where it gets fun.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't Socrates speaking from the mountaintop. This is just a high guy like Wooderson.
I really liked the Willoughby character.
And it was a good little speech.
Yeah, I liked Willoughby.
It's a very Wooderson-worthy pep talk.
It really kind of is.
Finn does some other ones. We'll get to that, but the Willoughby guy, you know, just embrace who you are, man. And that's when it gets fun, when you don't give a shit about what these rednecks think about you. Well, somehow over at the bar, the crew is flirting with some chicks, and somehow all the baseball players have cowboy hats on.
Yeah.
Where'd they get those?
Well, they went home and changed. Did
they all bring cowboy hats?
Yes, they did.
They did.
Did you have a cowboy hat in college?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Did you wear it when you went out to country bars?
Mm-hmm.
I never saw you in a cowboy.
I got a cowboy hat right now.
Yeah, I've
talking
actually
about?
seen Cody in this cowboy hat.
When?
I don't know. I was drunk one night. It's a long story, dude.
I feel kind of weird.
I don't have to tell you
I've
this
known this
story.
guy for 25 years. I never saw him in a cowboy hat.
I'm not saying I wear it every day, but yeah, I got a
Is it
cowboy
white?
hat. Yes, it is a straw hat.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. I didn't mean like a Boss Hog hat.
I totally want
which
a
would
boss
be
hog
awesome.
hat.
Yeah.
With the
do
white
you have a cowboy
suit.
hat?
Yeah, straw hat.
Did you wear it when you played with the country band?
Oh yeah. But I also wore it in college. I mean, growing up in East Texas, it was nothing but country bars.
But did you wear it like just in East Texas, like when you're going to the store and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes there was a time where I was a big kicker face.
That right there,
Kicker?
the fact that Linkletter throws that in there, man, that is the number one thing that just sealed the deal.
The term kicker?
The term kicker.
Yeah. I don't think many people outside of Texas have any clue what that's even a thing.
Yeah. Well, they would call it shit kicker.
I don't even think so. I think
Well,
Yeah.
that was where it derived from,
but kicker is what we call, you know,
we called in high school what we called the people
the
that
4-H
were the,
the 4-H kids, the kids that wore boots to high school,
the cowboys.
kickers.
Yeah, it was funny because I was over the weekend. This was my first trip to Cali, and I was marveling on some of the aspects of Cali. And one of my friends online friends from Cali was like, "Yep, we don't do shit kickers up here." Now I know he meant it in jest, but until you really know somebody, don't
Oh, you were
don't do
offended?
that. That was almost offended.
It's like a slur?
It almost was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're clearly not a shit kicker. You sing opera.
I'm a man of many hats.
You drive a mom van.
But still, I got my East Texas roots, and I still defend them.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing. If I know you, I think very well. There's nothing other than your roots and your background. There's nothing now your modern day that's kicker or even country about you.
No, they would make fun of me so much.
Yeah. But yeah, that it was. I did notice them when they said that too. It's like, yeah, that's authenticity.
Yes.
Authenticity.
Not to mention the shirt that Fence wears in this scene is
My
so
God.
badass.
Was it a pearl snap shirt like Cody's wearing?
I don't know if it was
I'm
that.
not sure if it was
but
pearl snap, but it was.
I'm sorry. His.
Oh,
I won't
It was
lie.
real colorful.
yes.
His
Yeah, I remember.
wardrobe.
Yes. I want that
It
shirt.
was like Magnum PI with a pearl snaps on it.
Yeah, it was like
Correct.
country Magnum PI. It was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
His wardrobe in this movie is fantastic. I want every single shirt that man
much,
wears.
Well, the guys are all flirting with these chicks, and things have picked up over the country bar, and they're wearing their cowboy hats.
And the best thing about his wardrobe, which I love about every single shirt, has a pocket on it.
Yeah.
So he can put that fucking pipe in it.
And he does not button past
Oh, God, no.
the abs.
No.
They're always stop about mid-chest. Well, Finn, speaking of Finn, he's telling the country chicks, they ask him about what he's studying in school. He's studying to be a cunnilinguist, which, of course, they have no clue. They're like, oh, really? You know,
I just really like to get down in my work.
I'd like to be buried in my work. It's funny shit, and Glenn Powell, the actor, like I said, he just owns it. Mark my words, boys. Glenn Powell,
I think so. He really brought it.
his work on that Scream Queen show
Yeah.
was literally some of the best comedy acting I've seen. Like,
Yeah.
the guy has a real sense of self and how to play with his strength. Like, the guy's good. The guy is
Yeah.
really, really good. He's gonna do something big soon. I can feel it. They end up square dancing.
Is it just me, or does he kind of remind you of a Gary Oldman? Like a young Gary Oldman?
I can see that.
I mean, just physically
I can see it
in the
yes.
face.
Well, yeah, he may play a younger, not acting style, but
Yeah, not acting
a
style,
little
but
physical.
just
a little bit.
the face.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they end up square dancing, and this portrayal of the country club, which gets wrong in so many movies, struck me as very real.
Oh,
the,
yes.
the honky tonk bars I've been to, and the Bo's Barns, and the smaller.
This was ideally set for 1980s.
Movies fuck this up
they-
so
they
much.
break-
Line dancing and square dancing, like
When they, break
do
it,
it
when
so
they
wrong.
break out the Cotton Eye Joe,
Yeah.
it was They sealed the deal.
I mean, hell, we do that at weddings here. In another filmmaker's hands, it could have been unrealistic and stereotypical, but it wasn't here.
Yeah.
I've been to these places, believe it or not, and God knows Tut has been up on that stage.
Dude, I could cut a rug, man. Just dancing fool.
Between the dialogue, like you said, and the music and the way it's shot, the authenticity and realism, it may seem over the top to somebody who's never seen it, but it wasn't.
No,
it was very real.
It was a pretty good portrayal.
The next morning, we're back at the baseball house, and through subtitles, we're reminded once again that class starts in 1 day and 18 hours. After an intense ping pong match at the house between Jake and McReynolds. McReynolds does not like losing. Remember knuckle thumping?
Yep.
Oh,
They
yeah.
showed two guys.
I have not thought about that.
I hadn't
since.
either. Thumping knuckles. See who gives first.
I remember me and Travis Barnes, man, thumping knuckles, just bloody knuckles too.
And it almost always goes like this: one dude is pouring blood out of his knuckles, and the other guy nothing.
Yeah. It all comes down to just finding that one spot.
That one little
if you have a
spot.
little bit of an edge on your fingernail, just hit it the exact same way every time.
So they're playing ping pong. They're knuckle thumping. Man, I'd forgotten about that.
It was Nesbitt and
the dumb guy that.
Brumley.
Yeah, I think so.
It's Brumley or Bumley?
The one from with
The shaggy hair?
yeah, the shaggy
Yeah.
hair. I have mentioned a lot of the peripheral guys because they really don't. But it was Nesbitt.
Yeah.
The
And we get that cool competition speech from Finn, I think.
he does. These guys are all here because they want to win. Everything's a competition to them.
Yeah,
And
because that's how it started out. Is that haven't you noticed that everything here is competition?
it has to be. They can't just play basketball. They got to put money on shots. They got to. That's what gets you into the big leagues as a baseball player. You got to have. You got to have it.
I was about to say everybody that I've known that's had some serious drive has always had that competitive edge to where, it could be ordering a soft drink at Sonic and someone's got to race you to get to the line first to order it.
Yeah, I guess that's why we're here in the Corner No Hope. I don't think we. I don't think we have that.
Go on about this competition?
Do you have a shred of competitive nature in your body?
Yes.
See, I think that hesitation there is
No. I would say yes, you do, because you don't keep a business open without it.
Yeah, but you're not actively out to, mock the bar down the street who's not pulling them in.
No,
his
not
money.
mock.
I don't waste my energy on a frivolous competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in your defense, you've always been one of the cases where, like, hey, the more people doing what I'm doing, the better, because it's good for us. I don't know. I have it to a certain degree, but not like this. Like,
Yeah. This was ultra
just-
competition.
and they get locked up in what I refer to almost as what I
Petty
see
competitive?
yeah.
like you just said. Who's gonna get there first? Run to the door.
I can't help but think, though, if these guys really had that drive, instead of all this partying and video game, they'd be down there like pitching and like practicing their hitting. they're not doing anything baseball related to drive their
But
competitive nature.
But that's part of the speech. Also,
in the crafting of this story, he makes it abundantly clear what these guys are here for. We're gonna play baseball, but first we're gonna party, and we're gonna drink beer and we're gonna chase tail.
But he also points out in the competitive speech, there's only a couple of them with real, true pro prospects.
Right.
Yeah.
And they go through that, many times within this movie. I might make it big, probably.
Yeah.
But what am I going to do afterwards if I don't make it big?
Yeah.
And none of them are thinking about that.
No.
'cause they're
No.
The 19.
Yeah, they
well,
were
but
pretty.
they're not-
they
they're
were,
only
they're-
thinking about.
They were pretty on the nose of that. Was it the quad deal where the drunk guy, the one who's like the drunk freshman, he was like, No, this might be coming up later when he was doing the whole.
No, I
have
believe
you
it
looked
was in
at
the quad
Have
scene.
you looked at all these people?
I mean,
What does that dude do?
Have you given any thought to like what these people are going to do? Like, what are we going to do?
You mean like me?
Why are they even here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I know
whole-
why we're here to play baseball.
Which
Yeah.
is one of the problems I had with the storyline.
Wait till it's time. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Real quick, you're done with the cigar. Yax, you and I have about a third left.
Yeah.
Your final thoughts?
I still go that it's my favorite cigar pairing of the deal.
What about
Great
just
draw,
the cigar?
great construction. Unlike the first time where it was transitioning everywhere, it held that leather. It held the cedar that kicked in. The cream was nice.
And you very
The
rarely pick
splashes
up
of
on the
cocos.
cream.
Yeah.
So for you to pick up on it, I'm always like looking to you. Like when we say, we get a creamy thing, you're like, I don't get it. You got it here.
Yeah.
The chocolate, the cream, the leather, the cedar. Construction flawless.
Yeah.
Smoke production. I've had to relight quite a bit, but we're talking a lot.
The strength was nice. It had a good
Not
presence,
overpowering
but
at
it
all.
wasn't
No.
overpowering.
Full flavor, medium at best.
Yeah.
Strength. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah.
It has been beginning to now towards the end here. The flavor hasn't gone and it hasn't switched. It hasn't been a 180. It hasn't been weak on the beginning or strong in the beginning and then weak in the end.
That's
been consistent.
That's been
throughout.
consistent while
Right.
other flavors have come and gone.
I mean, y'all spoke.
Yeah, that's a real good point.
My construction has been solid all the way through. No cracking, no fraying. Everything has been beautiful, and the flavor has been, as I said, consistent. That's fantastic.
Lesson learned here: when you try a cigar, especially a new cigar that's fresh at your tobacco shop, just came out, don't let that first impression rule the day, and don't be afraid to go back and go to it. That can happen a lot at this price point, because if it's a more pricey cigar and you didn't have a knock you off your feet moment, you're a little more hesitant to go back and try it. We've given this a lot of time. Now's a good time, I guess, to talk about price. You said you have no memory. It's been so long.
I thought it was around like the $11 mark.
You want to take a guess here?
I already know. You sent me the thing.
Oh yeah, I did send you guys the.
It's a good thing I don't read his text.
I totally read his text.
I knew he didn't read it. Thing is, he responds to it having not read it, and you read him and don't respond.
No.
I'll never figure you guys out.
I've got my list of canned responses I go to.
Right now on Famous, singles 11, you can get a $5 for 50, so $10 a piece.
Yes.
Okay.
And after smoking this,
that's value. I mean, we're over 2 hours, and so not boring.
Yeah.
So many good flavors. Like
the
consistent.
fact that it stretches out to 2 hours, even though it being a Churchill, still fantastic. I mean, I've had Churchills where I burn them in less than an hour.
I like it. Big thumbs up. Big
Agreed.
thumbs up.
Agreed.
I'm glad we came back to it. Much like Linklater, we're going back to the well, and it's paying off. Yeah, I really like it. And the beer is really, really good. I didn't want to like it as much as I did with the goofy little hipster on the can, and but hey, good beer's good beer.
It is solid,
especially after that shandy. It tastes like beer.
Oh yeah, it tastes like beer.
And I like that shandy. It wasn't bad,
but it wasn't solid. It was not this.
No,
which was good.
No. I'd have to go back and look, but I might be with Tud as far as pairing so far this year. We're a little over halfway through the year. God, they went good together.
Yeah, they really did.
But more importantly, I like them individually too. I could see going back to both separately, and good stuff. Okay. Where were we here? Knuckle thumping. Well, Jake and Willoughby, the stoner guy, head up to his room to talk Twilight Zone episodes and smoke some doobies. Smoke a bong. They take Plummer and Dale with them. I should mention, I wasn't going to mention, but Dale is the one black player on the team.
Yeah.
Remember Benny, the black football player from Days and Confusers?
He's the token.
I don't know if it's token, though, back then. Like, I think maybe back then there was that one. And even when we were in high school, there was kind of just a few, black athletes that kind of hung with the white athletes. I don't know if it's token, if it's got kind of a... That might have been Linklater's experience, playing baseball. This was, and I didn't see it as token because it was never... Just like Benny and Days Confused, it was never brought up that he was black. He was never treated different. and maybe back then there wasn't predominantly a number of black baseball players as there are now. And those are from the Dominican, and they're black guys named Jose. They're not American black guys. But yeah, it didn't strike me as anything other than just another character.
I can't really.
I didn't even bring it up because it
I
was
can't
just
really
another
comment because I don't, with my vocal background, I don't have a sports background, so I don't know what the atmosphere was like back then.
Is there any black opera guys?
No. There was not.
Well, the boys doubt Willoughby's ability to hit the bowl of weed he packs into this bong. It's epic. And he proves them wrong in epic fashion. He smokes. That editing there of him hitting the lighter and that chamber filling up with smoke, that inhale and him holding it and like.
And I love the shot of the last of that smoke coming up through there.
Yeah,
it was really beautifully done.
Oh yeah, it kind of whips and then it's in him and
then it's in, and then he leans back and just that slow pour out.
And
it was just
and what I love about it, I mean, it ultimately does capture the fact that it makes you feel like this dude does it a lot, because as he's blowing out, the other guys, when they blow out, just a plume.
Yeah.
This guy lets out, and it's like
the dragon's breath.
And it doesn't even it's not even like a giant plume. It's just like this trickle of smoke that comes out. And he's like, oh, that was great.
But
where's the rest of the smoke? But it's still in it. He absorbed it.
That whole little moment we just talked about, from the packing to the lighting to him smoking it, I mean, that's Sandra. That's editing.
Yeah.
That's her making that scene work with so many different shots and close-ups and wide. I mean, that's another. She captured that really, really well. Which she did in Dazed and Confused with the kegs and the float in the kegs. She captures that ritual and makes you really kind of go back in your head and remember it. Well, during this scene, Willoughby goes off on Plummer for liking Van Halen, claiming he's a victim of corporate America because only corporate America likes Van Halen, and he even cites Carl Sagan in his diatribe against Van Halen. Scott would be very displeased.
Well,
Scott would start stabbing motherfuckers, which he has, and I can't talk about.
And it brings up, and this is kind of a good thing, is earlier in one of the scenes, it actually did show Willoughby with Sagan's book.
No, he hands it to Jake his first day there. He's like, read chapter so and so, change your life.
Yes,
he is the spiritual weed smoking guru.
I love Willoughby, man.
Willoughby's cool. We're gonna learn something really funny about Willoughby here in a little bit. There's a great high moment here, which they capture.
Yeah.
And Linklater wrote this down when he was in college and has been wanting to fit this in because it paints such a good picture. So they're smoking this weed, and Willoughby, the guru, tells everyone in the smoking circle, there's 4 of them, to try to connect to each other telepathically and guess what he's thinking about.
It's a skill we've lost, man.
Close your eyes and telepathically, let's all try to connect and tell me, guess what I'm thinking about. One guy says baseball. No. Having a tail? No. Cereal.
I was like, winner.
No. Shit, man, no. He was thinking about sharks.
Well,
but then Plummer's notes, sharks have tails.
Have tails.
It's a good point. And Willoughby gives him that nod like, I wish I had a tail.
That whole scene was really,
that high
really
scene
well
was
crafted.
really good. A lot of movies blow the high stuff.
Yeah, they do it too
They get too
farcical.
goofy, and this was like I imagine it would really be like to get high.
Yeah, that's the
Personally,
perfect.
I've never indulged.
See, that's one
with
thing. You go
Really?
back to the
You gotta go
editor
down that road.
and Linklater as well. But on the beer scene at Dazed and Confused, when they float the keg and the dude slams the cup on top of it. I just want to know how much of that is her experience, the editors versus the director's experience, or
That's true too. I don't know.
Because it's little bitty stuff like that comes from life experience. It doesn't come from just
And
this is what I've heard.
I might get to it later. I'm not sure, or we may have missed it. But there was. I think it's coming up. The keg stand scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it coming up?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it when we get there. God, that brought back a flood of. A flood of a lot of
their whole our party night is it literally. I'm like, I have been to this party
ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum. It was a good party every time I went.
Your apartment complex at Texas A&M was this party.
It was pretty much every weekend.
Yes, I know. I drove from Sam Houston. Tell a story about when they tried to tow my truck. Maybe we won't.
No.
A couple of the players go for a walk on campus at this point. They keep in mind they've been partying all this and all, but they decide to go for a walk high through campus, and they come across another house, not nearly as impressive as the football house. Where Jake recognizes an old high school buddy, Brumley, who's grown his hair out since the 2 months since high school.
Yeah, really.
And is now ruling a punk rock equivalent of the baseball house. Bunch of punk rockers.
And this guy played on his high school.
Yeah, he
team,
was an old
right?
high school, but
Yeah.
he gave up baseball to party.
Yeah.
Much like Cody and myself both gave up high school football to
Go on a
other hobbies. And they said it wouldn't pay off for us. We got our own podcast.
Screw you, counselor.
Take that, guidance counselors. Look at us.
good times.
Great fucking times. Yeah. Look at us. Well, he's got the padlock necklace and everything, like the chain and the padlock. He's punk.
He's there. He's down.
Brumley's okay with Devo and the Cars, but he wants to take them to a punk club to really show them what he's all about now. And Jake's all about it. He's like,
sure, man,
you guys
I love
in?
this dude.
Any other movie, like a John Hughes movie, Finn and the other athletes would be like, dude, these aren't our kind.
Yeah.
No, they're high and drunk. They're like, all right, fuck it. We got
Well,
nothing else to do.
I think Finn's like old enough, and he's like,
Finn is there.
let's
like,
go for an experience.
We are going to jump off a cliff.
Well,
okay, let's do this.
But to their credit, they do try to assimilate. Once they get to the punk club, they all do rip their sleeves off.
Well, it's,
or they at least roll them up. What are you doing? Untuck your fucking shirt, man.
The one guy with
The
his
one-
tucked in
McLennan,
polo shirt.
Coma.
Coma.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it
was Coma. That was Coma.
It was, and they already set the precedent for when they, transform themselves going into the country. This is all about picking up chicks, man.
They assimilate, and which I will say with us in high school, because we kind of got along with everybody. There was cliques and everything, but we were kind of welcome, whether it was a LAN party or a jock party or whatever. Now, we didn't put on cowboy hats.
Right.
When we went to a jock party, we didn't put on jerseys and cleats.
Yeah.
But we did kind of just, we didn't force ourselves. We kind of just, if this is your vibe, we'll play along with it,
See, I could never do that. I was such an oddball that I couldn't.
In the words of Randy Pink Floyd, Todd, there's nothing a few beers can't solve.
We morphed into that guy like, dude, we're going to a party. Well, there's going to be beer there. Hey.
See, now that was... like I had my best friend growing up, Scooter, was like this quintessential go-between. He could go, like you guys could go, whatever clique there was. He was accepted there.
Well, you know what? You're very much like Mincy.
Yeah.
Mincy on his own would when he was with us, he was great.
Yeah, that was it's almost exactly like
my number one motivating factor at that age. Beer.
Even
why am I going to go there? Well, they got beer.
Even more so than chicks.
Yeah. If there were chicks, hey, that's a plus.
Yeah.
Is there beer? That'll get me through the night.
Yeah. And then when you get to go up the ranks senior year, we were the guys with the beer. Because you had that fucking beard.
Are you joking? We had beer when we were freshmen.
Yeah. Well, you had an older brother who had another lustrous beard.
Alaska men can grow
God,
beards.
what is with you guys in your hair?
I don't have any hair now.
I know, now you're hairless.
Exactly.
It's ironic. Now you guys have no hair. You still have a lot of beard.
I do. I can shave this goatee off right now and it will grow back by tomorrow.
Well, when they go to the punk club, like I said, they all tear off their sleeves and try to fit in, untuck their shirts or whatever. Jake somewhat starts to question, who are we really, like, and all this. And
we've been disco people.
Finn squashes it immediately.
And once again, here's Finn, like, giving you the facts.
I'm going to sum it up. I'm paraphrasing. We're just a couple of baseball players who like to talk trash in an effort to get laid, and thinking anything about the past is stupid. Thinking anything about 10 minutes ago is stupid. We're baseball players we talk shit in an effort to get beer and get pussy. And if you're gonna bring in anything other than that, it's stupid. Wise words.
That's why I like Finn's character.
He
so
wasn't
damn
smoking
much.
the pipe in that moment, but he should have been. You can't smoke a pipe in a punk.
Well, I don't think he had. I don't
that's
think he
true.
had.
I think
pockets.
I think he had. Yeah, when he's stripped
He ripped
down,
the
but
pocket
he
off.
ripped the pocket off to show he's a badass. But that was another little thing. Like, this guy's just living for today. Because you know what? It's not always going to be like this. And you get the feeling Finn knew that. Look, man, a couple years down the road, I'm going to have some shit job. Just let's
Live for today.
live
man.
for
He's
today,
been in
brother.
college 8 years.
I also liked in the punk scene where the drunk dude, the drunk freshman, I can never remember this dude's name.
It's the other guy. Yeah, Plumber?
Plumber, where he goes into the mosh pit and some dude, like two dudes, like he bounces hard into one dude and these other two dudes just throw him against the wall, and he springs back like he's about to fight, and then he's like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
If you've ever been into that mosh pit, you're like,
he totally
yeah.
like they shoved him out, slammed him on the wall, and he gets up and he gets that look like, yeah, that was totally my fault.
Yeah.
Like I fucked up.
It was a good little
I'm
moment.
cool. I'm cool.
That was a good, and Plumber was the one that was maybe would have started something there, and he didn't. That was nice. Well, later that night, we see Jake pinning. We'd forgotten about his kind of love for this girl from the very beginning of the film.
Yeah.
We're way into this movie by now. He pins a handwritten note with some flowers to her dorm room door. And meanwhile, fucking Alex Van Halen's drum beats start kicking in. Everybody want?
And I had that whole moment right there in the movie. There it is.
There it is. Everybody wants some.
That's it.
I was waiting the whole fucking movie for it.
I was wondering if they were going to actually do that, like with this movie. And as soon as I heard the little,
Well, the thing is, I figured that the song was going to play over the opening credits.
Yeah.
If everybody
Yeah.
wants some. But dude, I'll be honest. Before I watched the movie, for like 2 days, that song was stuck in my head.
oh yes, it is by far. If someone goes Van Halen, I'm immediately going to go Panama or Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah. I mean, it's a top, at least top 5.
yeah.
Any Hagar songs in those top 5 for you guys? No way, man.
Nah, I can't.
Not Van Halen.
No.
Hagar by himself, yes.
Van Hagar? It's legit.
No, it's not.
Scott loved it all. Except the Gary Sharon. Remember when the extreme...
the extreme dude.
Scott, don't ever bring that up around Scott. Van Sharon is persona non grata in Scott's world. But yeah, they finally play Everybody Wants Some as he's pinning this note to the wall. And, God, great song. Back at the baseball house, a party is in full effect, and everybody's drinking, smoking, doing cake stands.
And
here's the cake stands.
They are not just drinking; they are drinking.
Oh no, they're college drinking, just copious.
They have the
copious.
hollow, they have the hollowed.
TCC stuff.
They got the hollowed.
You're not going to
out,
see this table at the end of the night.
They have the hollowed out wiffle ball bat, doing basically a impromptu bong.
beer bongs with wiffle
Then
bats.
you do the spin.
Oh,
Then
that
you
was-
hit the fucking crushed beer can.
Yeah, when a home dude, his high school friend, does the
spin.
baseball spin, I was like, been there.
I honestly have never done the baseball bats.
Oh, it fucks you up.
Yeah, at Jitterbugs, which was the country club at Nacogdoches,
Is that owned by the same guy that owns Shenanigans?
probably. They had the baseball bat competition where two people would go in, take their shots, go down, do the baseball
You
deal,
can't
come
do that in
down,
a bar
take
now,
shots.
right? That's
Oh,
illegal.
hell no. Hell no.
Hey,
Back in the good old days.
can we do that at the pub one night?
No.
I was about to say, put it on the calendar. I'm there.
They have rules.
Oh man, yeah,
Damn
that
you,
baseball,
TABC.
that baseball deal. Oh, it was great.
Could we do a cake stand competition at the pub?
No.
In the cooler back room? No. They're doing cake stands, which I gotta tell you guys, never done that either.
I've never done a cake stand.
What?
No.
never.
Somehow I escaped.
Oh my God. Sweet Jesus.
I'll tell you why.
I have trust issues, and I don't let people pick me up.
I'll tell you why. There was, it is kind of like the trust thing where you fall backwards and they catch you. Those guys holding your legs are, I'm not going to name names, but we were at a party in high school and a guy did a cake stand. And they put him down and he got up and you could tell from the look in his eye he had drank enough to instantly lose his mind, and he just started swinging, like trying to punch people, like because somebody had accidentally, like the guys, like you said, trust issues. Someone had kind of let him slip, and so he thought he was getting goofed on. Mix that with like,
an insane amount of alcohol,
100 ounces shot down his. He got up and he's just like started swinging, but he was so drunk and he was upside down. He just like spun out of control, and I was like, I don't.
That doesn't look fun.
I have a hard enough time with the other stuff I got going on. I don't need.
I have done many a keg stand, and watching them, you can just tell this scene. They're not there to
They're there to get fucked up.
They're there to get fucked up. They're not chasing tail like they were 2 nights ago. They're not.
That
trying
first
to
night
fit
was
in.
really the only tail night.
Yeah.
Tonight, they are there just to blow the fucking walls down.
Kill brain cells, man.
And they are succeeding.
Yeah, which is a lot like Dazed and Confused. Although they
now I will say that I have funneled, and I like the epic 2-story funnel that they did.
Yes.
Yeah, that was impressive. But even in Dazed and Confused, there was always that pursuit of the females.
Yeah.
You never really got just the let's get obliterated, which is more of our track record with. But this movie, I totally got that vibe. Like, you know what? It's all about just getting drunk tonight.
Yes. And I loved this scene.
They're also playing. They've got the girls inside playing Twister.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to say this party went just every fucking trope.
Every cliche you can think of.
Naked fucking Twister. They got the girls inside, and you're like, oh yes. There they are.
They even go far enough to do a female mud wrestling pit.
Finn's over there, and he's giving them the full on.
Which, by the way,
I love it more than anything else.
Set the fucking Van Halen's everybody ain't talking about love.
Yeah. He's over there. He's giving them the full court press.
Scott,
At first,
sorry.
you're thinking maybe he's like, what do you want? You want regrets after this? No, after this, there's no regrets. You can't be going on. Are you in? Are you in?
Yeah.
At first, you're like, is he trying to get him into a threesome?
Yeah, that's what I
And then
thought.
he's like, all of a sudden, I'm like, he's trying to get him into a threesome. And the girl's like, well, I don't know.
Next thing you know, they're just in this mud pit.
They're wearing their
Angel
bra
dust
and
style.
panties, and he's over there like, yeah.
And dude, I admit, the movie that we're dream of doing one day has a epic mud wrestling battle in it. Much more than this.
Our mud wrestling scene would be.
Yeah, we're gonna shoot that over like 3 days.
tails.
It's gonna be like the Matrix.
Now it is downgraded with the death of Mr.
Roddy
Piper.
Roddy Piper was gonna be the referee in our movie. But,
that would have been awesome.
What the alley scene and They Live did for
Keith David.
Street Fight. Oh, we can get Keith David.
That shit would be fucking awesome.
If you're interested in supporting Angel Dust and the Tuesday Night Cigar Club's filmmaking dreams,
Let us know.
buy some shirts.
Buy some
Please.
shirts.
Buy 10
Lots of
shirts.
Buy 10 shirts.
20 shirts. 30 shirts.
But yeah, Keith David would be a great rep. But we're gonna do what that alleyway scene and They Live did for fist fighting. We were gonna do that for mud wrestling. It's gonna be like a 10-minute mud wrestling match. But this is a good one.
Yeah.
But they don't get naked.
No, they don't. I was waiting for the stripe scene where John Candy comes up with the bras. That didn't happen.
I never saw Stripes.
Why do we even mention
Freaking
movies?
hipster.
Look, it was chicks mud wrestling to Ain't Talking About Love by Van Halen. Scott had a boner watching this. Well, they're also...
Scott,
you talk about all the tropes. They're also up on the roof hitting golf balls off the roof.
Love it. No. They weren't hitting golf balls. They were hitting crushed beer cans.
Crushed beer cans. And they were riding old dirty mattresses down the stairs. Like sleds.
I mean, they were doing everything.
I'm like, that is a party.
Everything I always imagined everybody else was doing in college when I was at home watching Heat on Laserdisc drinking 40 ounces. Is that what you guys were doing?
Yes.
Damn it.
Well, not all at one. Not all
Not
at the
all
same
at one party,
Like
man.
I've been to many parties where some of these things, other than the mud wrestling. Fuck, I
never been to a mud wrestling
me
party
to this day. An impromptu mud wrestling. I've been to like a club that had mud wrestling,
But an impromptu one.
but an impromptu mud wrestling with women.
I was sitting in my shitty ass apartment drinking malt liquor, smoking Marlboro Ultralights,
Where
watching
were you?
Heat. You know what though? I will say
you were
this.
training for this.
I did have an opportunity to see a mud wrestling competition professionally. We were at a film festival in Vegas about 10 years ago or so.
Go on.
And the filmmakers in the booth next to us, we were trying to sell our films, and we'd just met Kevin Smith was one of the judges, or he was doing something there, and he came by and was talking to everybody. We just talked to Kevin Smith. We're on a real high. And I turned to the guys in the booth next to us. They'd shown up late.
Yeah.
They had missed. John Cryer was there, Ducky from Premium Pin,
Yes.
interviewing all of us for that show Extras before 2.5 Men on that.
Right.
And they'd shown up late, and they hadn't had all their stuff set out. They like missed everything. And there's these two just weird guys. And I was like, dude, man. I was like, yeah. They're like, what did we miss? Like everything. It was like closing like an hour. Like, oh man, we saved all our money to come out here for this. Miss it all. And they're like trying to set up their poster and stuff. Like, yeah, man. What happened? It's like, where are you staying? It was at the Venetian. We were like, we're staying here at the Venetian so we could be here on time in the morning and do all this. Oh, we're staying over at Gillies. I guess there's a Gillies casino and hotel, Mickey Gillies' place. Or
I have never heard of this.
I've never heard of this in Las
there's
Vegas.
there's a Gillies. I have to look this up, but they're like, man, it was cheaper to stay up because they'd spent all their money on their film. Good move. But they stayed in Old Vegas down at Gillies, which has mud wrestling every night at like 2 a.m. They turned the middle of the casino into a mud wrestling thing. God, we were up till like 5 watching mud wrestling, and our alarm didn't wake us up. And oh man, this could have been your shot, boys. You missed it all because of mud wrestling at Gillies. So anyway, that night we went. I might be getting the name wrong, but anyway, we went to wherever they were staying. They were like, "You got to come." If anything else, we're gonna go back that night. And it was only like that, like once a week they do a big mud wrestling. So I haven't seen a real mud wrestling either. Maybe someday, guys. Maybe someday.
One can dream.
Maybe we'll be pulling the strings, the G strings. Next morning is Sunday. Time is running out. Baseball practice is finally supposed to go down today, the scrimmage. Before that, though, Jake is woken up by a telephone call from the smart and sassy Beverly, the girl who an hour and a half ago at this point he met.
So cute.
Who he left the note and flowers for. She likes his charm. For a dumb jock, he's kind of charming.
And in this scene where they're doing the whole, like, phone...
The split screen.
The split
You
screen
see him
phone
in bed,
conversation.
hungover, talking. And
She had taken on, and I didn't even realize this until this scene, she took on completely she just felt like a young Jennifer Jason Leigh. Like,
circa Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times, yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Fast Time. Look at her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, especially her look, sure.
Yes, she totally had. I mean, and I'm thinking Linkletter totally just wanted to throw this girl in because she looked like that.
She's a theater major. She was big shot at her theater program. Like Tut was big shot at opera
right.
in high school. She came here, but she realizes she's a small fish in the theater department. She's probably going to have to do some background roles or whatever. And he's keeping up with it. He's like, she's impressed by his knowledge of some. She throws out a couple names.
Yeah,
of
some poets.
Some poets, and he kind of keeps up with it or whatever. And she does enough to invite him over. So he's like, yeah, I'll be there in a couple, Upon his arrival to her dorm room, she offers him a Dr. Pepper, which should have had a pull-off tab in 1980. It was a modern-day Dr. Pepper can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
I did.
A rare miss by Mr. Linklater.
Well, they probably couldn't find any Dr. Pepper. Can we get a
Oh,
nobody has that.
It's $1 million budget.
I was about to say, you got the Dr. Pepper Waco
Do you
Museum.
know how much money we
or,
just spent to
museum up in
listen to-
Waco.
To listen to Van Halen, everybody wants some.
You had everyone want some, and you had to get Aiden talking about love. God, the music budgets on his movies must.
Yeah,
That
no
can
doubt.
alone cost
There's
$500.
there's
We
actually
don't get the budget for
look it up online. There's actually a huge article online about what it took to get Dazed and Confused made just soundtrack wise.
Yeah.
Just the Sweet Emotion from Aerosmith, that opening scene, was like such a chunk out. They could have had like 5 more days of shooting if he had went with a different song. But he's so peculiar about what songs he wants.
Yeah, and it makes his movies.
And it makes his movies.
Completely set the tone.
What other song but Sweet Emotion would have worked in that opening scene driving into the thing? So she starts, Beverly starts drilling him with questions. She's an artsy-fartsy theater major, and she's planning to move to New York City as soon as she graduates. But she likes him and invites him to the big theater group party that night of all the theater students, which she's being forced as a freshman to help with. Even the nerds get forced into helping out with nerd parties, apparently. Who would have thought? Oh, opera. Did you have to help out with some of the big opera parties on campus?
No, we just pretty much drank. Actually, I didn't hang out with the opera guys. That's probably why I didn't last in the program.
You didn't ingratiate yourself to the opera crowd.
No. We it was like the first weekend there at they called our wing of the floor the tri-food, the third floor fuck ups. Because within one semester, half of us had dropped out. Within 2 semesters, there was only 3 of us left. We just went.
Was it mixed, men and women?
No, it was just guys. But it was a cool deal to where like we get there, and I'm such an introvert. I'm going to hole up in my dorm. But there was one guy who kind of like got everybody together, and everybody just started talking, and it was just we just kind of hung out for the entire year, just
like a floor leader.
Yeah, just drinking our ass off.
We had a floor leader. At Sam, you had to live. You didn't have to do this at A&M. At Sam, you had to your freshman year, you had to live in a dorm.
Yep.
That was the rules.
Yep, same.
And I stopped by once, our floor leader, and let us know that the wet towel under the crack in the door really didn't do anything. He let my roommate know that. Ripple. I was so busy studying, I didn't know what was going on. Hitting the books.
Right.
They called me the old wallflower.
Yeah, hitting the Chaucer.
And by books, you mean a case of beer?
Yeah.
He's made the cardboards.
Well, I lucked out. I'm sure our listeners don't want to. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. I lucked out. My freshman year of college as an 18-year-old incoming. Much like Finn, my roommate, Ripple, who some would say doesn't really exist, was 21. He had been there and living at the dorm his whole 4 years. So I immediately was sacked up with, and he was kind of introverted, like he wasn't a real, big.
Yeah.
But he liked movies, which was my big thing, and he was real big into. Maybe I got him real big into drinking. And
my life
can you
was
imagine
such
an 18-year-old getting saddled up with a 21-year-old? So whenever on the weekends, I was dating a girl back home and still hanging out with this guy and all that. When I go on the weekends, we just give him some money and he'd send me home with some Mad Dog. I had no money.
Yeah.
This wasn't like I could come back with riches. Go buy me some bottles of Mad Dog, and Mincy was in community college at the time, so we'd sneak up to his bedroom and drink Mad Dog and watch Full House and then head out to the high school football game.
That sounds horrible.
It worked. It was not horrible. It was sad. So sad. No, they're some of my best memories. They're great.
I agree.
But anyway,
it was a fucked up time, but it was a good memory time.
Yeah, it was a lot fucked up, but man, it was so simpler in a lot of ways. Well, she talks him into coming to the theater party. Back at the field house.
I was about to say, before that, we got to go to some practice,
they're getting ready for finally they're going to play some baseball. Jake gets suckered into the old push yourself up. We lay on the ground and you try to push yourself up, and then one dude blindfolded, and another guy squats over you, and finally they let you go and you come up into his butt cheeks. We saw this. We've only done 35 episodes. This is twice we've seen this in a sleepaway camp. They did that to the fat kid sleepaway camp. The old butt cheeks hazing trick. I think we may have done that to Mincy one night here after hours.
Yes.
We really need to start doing some Facebook Lives to show you what goes on after the show wraps. That's when things get really interesting.
as evidenced by the beer cans thrown across the table.
Just the beginning. It doesn't matter. I love at this point we're an hour 20 into the movie, almost done,
Yeah.
and we're just now seeing these guys on the baseball field, which is great. It's not a baseball movie.
Yeah. Sorta.
That's so okay with me. I don't want to see these guys play baseball.
Yeah.
That's the most least interesting thing I could see these guys playing, right, Yance?
Yes.
You hate sports.
I'm not a fan.
But they actually handled it well, where you got to learn a little bit about their personalities and their strengths during this game.
It
worked.
again, they show
It worked.
you.
The game worked to tell you more about the characters.
Exactly.
Correct.
And also kind of like the hierarchy of being that new fish in a bigger
Correct.
pond. I really didn't like the baseball aspect of it, but I thought that they handled it so well in terms of character development
Yeah,
that it was spot on.
We see it for a purpose.
Yeah.
It's all set to Devo's Whip It. We witnessed the first practice. Coach Gordon, against NCAA regulations, shows up
Yeah.
and at one point pulls Willoughby, the stoner
Yeah.
dude, off the mound
Yeah.
and kind of pulls him over the side, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then he puts in Crazy J, Mad Dog or
Raw
Dog.
dog.
Raw Dog.
Raw Dog.
Mad Dog was from Bikini Summer.
Yes.
Yes.
Mustached McReynolds hits a homer off
Well,
Raw
Raw
Dog.
Dog is just talking shit.
Oh yeah,
I mean, just
Oh, yeah.
talking an immense amount of game. And then the first is, batting practice there and just starts drilling these fastballs. And McMillan's like, dude, this is batting.
McReynolds.
This is batting practice. And then I love Raw Dog's speech. I give 150% every time I'm on the mound. I'm not afraid of you. I've got pro prospects. And
So
the guy's like,
McReynolds promptly hits a home run off.
yeah, he's like, all right. Show
This
me.
is just hit a home run.
And I love the fact that he calls him Meat, too, from like Bull Durham to, all right, Meat, bring it in here.
he
Full Durham
cracks
didn't exist
it.
at this.
Well, that's probably just a baseball term.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I never played baseball.
Did you guys ever call the other opera guys meat?
No. I don't. Well, not in that sense. I was often referred to as Meat.
Well,
look at the competition is.
Ron Meat Tuttle.
Did you sing opera under Jason or Ron?
Jason.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it was Tuttle.
I was gonna say nobody's casting Ron in an opera.
Well, not that kind of opera.
No. Mustache McReynolds, he hits the homer off him, and he tries his best to talk shit to him, but no. Raw Dog Jay's undeterred. Then Jake gets called to the mound, our hero,
Now,
and he allows a double to McReynolds, and I guess that's considered success. He didn't
Yeah.
homer off him; he got him a double.
well, he fans Plummer or whatever his name is, and then McReynolds comes up and he gets a double off of him.
But the team is coming together before I mean, the scene makes sense
Yeah,
because
it really does.
they're showing you coming. The freshmen are getting accepted. It shows you
Right.
who's busting ball. It's a good scene. It works.
really is. It
Even
really
for a guy
is.
who doesn't like sports, you
Yeah.
liked it.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it really worked for character development.
They're coming together. But there is a little matter of the freshman initiation to take into account.
Well,
so,
hang on, because we haven't figured out what Willoughby's deal is.
well, the upperclassmen then after the end of the game duct tape all the freshman players.
this cannot be safe.
Yak Boy, was it duct tape?
It was in fact duct tape.
You majored in construction science at some
Yes.
point. This is
Whether or
duct
not
tape.
it was going to actually hold them the way that
They duct tape these. They duct tape the freshmen to the back wall of the outfield, like literally,
Yeah.
like to the wall.
They're suspended on the wall. Some are upside down. Some are like at 90
and they start
degrees.
blasting balls at them, like hitting
Hitting
baseballs
balls
at
at
them.
them. Yeah.
They're hitting their face.
I was just like, this cannot be safe. This cannot be good. If I'm like a coach, I'm like, all right, NCAA
Well,
rules.
Coach Gordon left it this
See, I would have been like, dude, you can't do that. We got, a season.
Coach Gordon is Jim Harbaugh at this point. Turns his back to the thing.
he is the referee in professional wrestling being distracted while the other guy's beating on the other wrestler.
What? I was getting a snow cone. What happened?
And the
there?
crowd is yelling, "Look! Look!"
I can't. I got my snow
What?
cone. I got my snow cone. I can't look backwards. But dude, they're literally taped to the wall, and they're just hitting balls at him. They're just hitting their face. They're just it's much like Dazed and Confused, the freshman paddling the paddling initiative. But to ease the freshman's pain after they go through the initiation, they all go down to the local creek and tube their asses off.
Yeah.
It's kind of Barton Springs like.
It is
right?
Barton Springs.
It is in fact not. Well, yes.
Do they tube at Barton Springs?
No.
Again, me being antisocial, I don't know what they do there.
If you're wondering about the said,
It's a swimming hole.
The wonderful scene there, and they are in the wonderful town of Wimberley, Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, but San Marcos.
Yes.
But I actually thought it was Barton Springs when I looked at it.
No, my wife's college roommate was in college. She's from Wimberley, and they have a cabin down on the water.
Yeah.
And just like this, they swing on vines down over this thing, and
That's exactly where it is. They are in actually what is known as the Blue Hole. It is also a spring-fed river.
It's beautiful. I will say that.
I think it's Stephen F. Austin, the opera program. The Blue Hole had a totally different connotation.
No, that was the brown hole.
Dude, you could just left it.
And
What? It was brown brick. It was the place we drank beer. It was.
go on.
Oh, that was the bar.
Yeah.
You guys going down to the Brown Hole tonight? You won't find any baseball players down there or other kids.
Welcome to the Starfish.
Okay, so that was Wimberley. That makes sense.
Very beautiful. You get a chance. Go.
It is very beautiful.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Jenny used to go, spent many weekends there at this cabin. Like you said, swinging on vines, just lazy river. It's a river. It's not a creek, though, Wimberley. It's the San Marcos River? The Neches?
I don't know if it's the Neches. In that area, the big river is the Guadalupe.
Yeah, because it's by San Marcos. I guess maybe it is the Guadalupe. Maybe a tributary of the Guadalupe?
Possibly.
A lazy tributary?
Like I said, this is a spring-fed river that they're on. It's very pretty, clear water.
It is beautiful.
And
We should do a podcast from a lake house or a river house.
Yeah, we could do it once.
absolutely.
Then never
let's do
get
it.
invited back again.
Todd always goes like fishing and on these river like cabin trips with his other buddies.
Can we do some mud wrestling in this spring-fed river?
I guarantee he's not doing that with his friends. Scooter ain't mud wrestling nobody.
No, he's competitive enough. He'll strip down to his tidy whities.
It's
Go time. It's raw dog.
Viewers, if you'd like to see the Tuesday Night Cigar Club mud wrestle, drop us a line. I dominate your asses.
I don't know. I'm scrappy.
Yeah, I see you playing dirty too. Some eye poking,
Oh yeah.
ball squeezing.
Blatant chokeholds, man.
I'll squeeze your balls, but I'm not going to poke you in the eyes. Back at the cafeteria.
I don't need to hear any more.
Another beer?
Yes, please. Make that memory go away.
I have to
Speaking
kill
of Barton Springs,
I have to kill that brain cell, man.
speaking of Barton Springs, I'm loving this beer.
It
I
is
am too.
fantastic.
Boy, you know what? I'm big enough, man, to if I smoke a cigar with a goofy name and a goofy marketing angle, if I like the cigar, I'm not going to judge it by the goofiness of it.
Yeah.
Same with the beer. I hate the guy
The
on it.
hipster ambiance.
I hate the name Uncle Billy's Brewery and Barbecue. It's so Austin. You know how I feel about Austin.
This is like everything that you hate.
If I was a lesser man, I would refuse to say I like it just based on my principles. It's
good
It's
product,
a good beer.
man.
It's
Good product.
flavorful. It's hoppiness is right at that point where I could go for a little more, but I respect that they didn't because guys like you were on board with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think this will actually take over my Hans Pils.
I could see that.
Yeah.
We talk a
'Cause
lot.
it's got a little bit more flavor than the Hans.
We talk a lot on the show about summer beer, just back porch, smoking a stogie. The Güegüense, the Wiseman cigar, is not necessarily something I would reach to light up on a hot summer day
Yeah.
in the backyard, but this beer definitely is. What are we looking at, Yaks, price wise for a sixer of this?
You're looking about $7.50.
That's not bad.
That's Hans Pils.
Yeah.
We discovered Hans Pils in the first 10 episodes of the show, and we've gone back to it repeatedly as just a great
Nice
just
little summer beer, man.
summer beer, but with some real character to it.
Yeah.
And I think this is maybe right up there with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was, and it's funny because on the Pilsner side, I was telling Cody this before the show. I was at this pizza place. We went to 2 pizza places. This was like a hoity-toity, just uber-rich pizza place
In California.
in California. A place called Santana Row in San Jose, I think. And so I ordered this pizza, and I ordered a Sierra Nevada Porter because it was the only thing that they really had towards the porter and the stouts. And they didn't have it. They ran out. And I asked the lady, I was like, all right, well, just what would you suggest for this pizza? And she was like,
What kind of pizza are you eating?
It was like a...
Goat cheese?
no, it was like a sausage.
California.
No, it was like a sausage pizza, sausage mushroom.
Fennel sausage.
Actually, it was sausage.
Son of a bitch. Make me sick. You tub of crap.
So I asked her, I was like, so what's a good beer to pair with this? She was like, oh, the Truman Pills. And I was like, all right.
Truman Pills?
Truman Pills. And I was like, all right, yeah, bring me some of that. And I should have keyed off on the Pills deal. And so I tasted this thing, and it was flavorless. I mean, I was like, there's no flavor to this whatsoever. And then it dawned on me, oh, fucking LA or California hipsters and their fucking Pilsners. I was like, get some beer. I mean, get some flavor in there. Get some malt in there. It was nothing. It was
Keep
like
in mind,
water.
last episode is when the episode before, Tut declared his West Coast allegiance to West Coast IPAs.
I did like the IPAs. The Sculpin IPA out there.
The
It's
Hop
pretty
Hunter,
badass.
the Sierra Nevada Hop Hunter IPAs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good beer.
Yeah, their IPAs are pretty good. Their Pilsners, not so much.
Yeah, love the beer. Good work, yeah, boy.
Thank you.
That's when one of our listeners goes, the Truman's actually from Wisconsin, you asshole. I don't know where it's from.
You guys like Harry Truman? Indifferent.
He was all right.
Man, Buck stopped there. He dropped the bomb.
He in fact did drop the bomb, so that actually goes for him. He did make history.
We talk a lot about.
Well, that and the fact that, all right,
we
let's
talk
see,
a lot
I
about
could-
ballsiness on the show. That's pretty ballsy.
I could do a land invasion of Japan, which
Well,
I've
his
just
first
gone
name
through
was
island
Harry.
hopping, and I've seen women and children throw themselves off mountains. Fuck it, keep our boys safe. Drop the bomb. I'm for it.
Pro Truman, someone. I'm gonna reserve judgment.
Plus, he stood up to MacArthur. I'm sorry, dude. You lost the fucking Philippines. That's when all of our World War II vets goes, MacArthur was a fucking saint, you asshole.
We have a huge World War II vet audience.
Not anymore.
No, I think I made some analogy a couple episodes ago to like us leaving a house party that was dragging you guys out like Battle of the Bulge. I think that's where we.
I was in the Battle of the Bulge, you motherfucker.
I think that's where we lost our veteran audience. It was just like Battle of the Bulge. These guys were drunk, and I was just carrying them. It was hell.
The AC broke. It sucked.
It was hell on earth. By the way, speaking of soldiers, Cigars for Warriors.
That was a segue.
Well, we got to make up for it somehow.
Oh,
Go to Cigars for Warriors and donate some cigars and money. They are the real heroes.
Nice way to save our ass on that one.
Host with the most. Back at the cafeteria on campus, they learn that Willoughby, our stoner, wise sage who's been
And I love this character,
teaching
man.
Jake about life, being yourself, having fun. He's been sent packing home because he was actually 30 years old. And he's been traveling from campus to campus, faking his way onto teams for years. Mincy, I mean, the doctor. I wish he was here for this because he would respect the hell out of that. I think the doctor might have done that a couple times. But dude,
Going
yeah.
from medical school to medical school.
But dude, they basically, the guy's a hoax. He's been just pulling this shtick for. The thing is, he was one of the youngest looking of these guys.
He actually was, yeah.
These big mustached, hairy dudes. He was one of the younger looking guys.
So was it ironic that through all of his speeches, he's talking about being yourself and finding what you're doing, and then here he is playing the part of somebody else.
His name's not even Willoughby.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. The guy's kind of a shithead.
No.
He's a poser. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, but at the same time, I like Finn's explanation of it. This is a guy that probably had some talent, maybe was close to pros, but couldn't make it in the pros, but didn't want to give up that lifestyle. Didn't want to give up that.
It wasn't baseball. He didn't want to give up. He didn't want to give
lifestyle
up you could tell in that bedroom scene where he was getting everybody high and talking. He just loved that interaction.
Yeah, he didn't want to give up the college lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you get the.
He was kind of the Wooderson of this. Only Wooderson was open that he was an adult hanging out with high school kids. This guy was pretending to be their age, the doctor style.
I like Willoughby. I thought he was a very complex character.
I do too. I'm glad they didn't show him like making out during that sex montage. I'm glad they didn't show Willoughby
that would've
like
been a little bit creepy.
18-year-old freshman, because that would have gotten weird. He wasn't there for the tale. He was there just to the experience.
Yeah.
Well, very reluctantly under pressure, Jake invites the gang to Beverly's big theater group party that night. This party has a hookah station.
I gotta say, man, if I had
Did
my
people
choices,
do hookah back then?
theater
Apparently
people
so.
apparently did.
Why did my voice get so high?
And
People do hookah back
People
then?
do hookah. He got the hookah. And I love the fact that the dude was dressed up like the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, sucking on the hookah. And I
They're
was
sitting
like,
around this hookah pipe,
that
smoking
shit
on this
fucking
hookah.
rocks, man. This whole house was decorated to the nines.
Unlike the
man.
baseball house, the fridge is filled with pineapples. It's a whole different scene. It's a very whole different scene.
Plumber goes in like, fucking fridge, yeah, man. And a cat jumps out. And he's like, he's totally freaked out.
I forgot
but
about
he's
the
not
cat
so
jumping out.
freaked out that he's like, he still reaches in to get the beer. Like,
It's the beer. That's wrong. A cat shouldn't be in the fridge,
man,
man.
that's
Okay, I
fucked up,
forgot there
man.
was beer in the fridge. I thought it was just filled with pineapples and
No,
a
he
cat.
totally goes. He freaks out for a second. You see it on his face, like, dude, that is so
wrong.
wrong. This is wrong. There should not be a cat
Well,
in this
everything's
fucking
wrong about
fridge.
this. There's chicks hula hooping. There's a dominatrix chick.
And at first, you
Lots
can
of
tell
glitter raining down from the sky.
I'm totally on board with the theater party.
Everybody's
man. Let's
talking
rock.
about their astrological signs. I imagine this is what Stephen F. Austin was like.
And it is the first time you actually see Finn get just pissed off.
Yeah, he's not digging this.
Well,
at all.
because he
no,
got
no.
cock blocked,
But he begged
man.
to get there. He begged to get
Oh,
in.
he wanted to go.
But
He's
he
totally
got
about
cock blocked, man. His friends, his teammates, just stone cold cock blocked him, man. His rap was working.
Yeah, what happened there? I'm trying to.
He was totally laying down.
Was he talking his small wiener spiel?
No,
or?
They
he-
never
he
really
was-
got
he
into
was
that.
talking,
He was talking the astrological
Sign
signs.
with the girl,
Okay.
and she was all into it. And then they came in and they were like just fucking with him.
And then they were like, "Oh yeah, he tells you his signs." And they started busting on his rap and basically saying, "Yeah, he tells that to every girl," and blah blah blah.
yeah,
blah.
they did cock block him.
They fucking just stone cold. I mean, asshole cock blocked him. It was one of those weird moves to where I was just like,
Oh, and he got no. I'm sorry, and I did gloss over this. He got really, really pissed, like fighting pissed. Like
yes, he's like,
Yeah.
he comes out and he's, you fuckers.
yeah, it was the first time that we ever saw from Finn something other than the wise.
actually,
old
it's
man.
the first time we've seen any kind of real aggressive
Right.
from any of these guys. Like a fight might go down. You know what? You're right. I forgot about that little moment.
Yeah,
And-
It was like I said, it just caught me off guard because I mean, even if you're highly
Well, especially from Finn
competitive-
because he's been the most laid back, kind of go with the flow
Yeah.
of all the characters.
I mean, if it had been a girl that one of the others was trying to get with, then I could understand the motivation there. But it wasn't. It was just a straight up dick cock block move.
that's right. I forgot about that. But he didn't.
He just got pissed and
No,
then
it's-
walked away.
Well, he's always the one preaching. We're in this together.
Right? It's a team.
Right, and
We're
it's
brothers.
And you know, you get the feeling like if one of those other guys was there talking to that chick,
I think Finn would have supported
he
it,
would have been
man.
like, totally. He would have like stepped in like, no.
Yeah, no, you don't understand. This guy right here, he's a Leo, but he's a Leo with a heart. He would have
And
started.
Would you
talking
have
smack.
handled that situation the same way if your brothers had openly gone out and cock blocked you because I've seen this guy back in those days and I saw somebody cock block him and He went out and bought a knife at a convenience store that night. I'm not going to get into details.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
He didn't take it Finn
I'm
like.
just saying that's kind
Yak
of
Boy
a
does not
highly
roll
insult,
with
man. Don't cock block, man. Support your brothers.
I forgot about that. Maybe I glossed over it because it was unpleasant. And it was like such a fun movie, and that was a weird.
It really was the first kind of scene where I was just kind of like, wow, that's kind of weird motivationally wise.
But in the spirit of the film, Linklater doesn't dwell on it, and he doesn't make it a big thing. It's just another weird thing that kind of like the fight at the kegs in Dazed
Well,
and
it's
Confused.
kind of like you're drunk off your ass. I mean, just
But it's like
shit
it's like the
happens.
keg fight in Dazed and Confused, where Adam
dominant male monkey motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like that. It's a moment.
Clint. Yeah, he fights Clint.
Fights Clint. It's a moment. It takes place over a minute of screen time, and it's forgotten about. He doesn't dwell on it. I like
Yeah.
that because I mean,
I love that fight scene. Oh God, I love that. No, I get my
God,
punch.
how many of those did we see?
And
And that was always the beauty of us, just kind of like flies on the wall at these parties. We just sit back and watch these guys fight each other.
well,
We weren't fighters.
I will. Yeah, the whole science behind that. It's the whole don't disrupt the herd mentality. You get in there, and then the herd will break up the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that the wrong way. The herd cheers the fight.
No,
on.
they let them fight for a good 2-3
Oh yeah,
minutes.
yeah, yes.
No, it's not an immediate thing. We want blood.
They'll break it up eventually.
Yeah, we watched a bunch of those fights, and we're just kind of just like, because it was always among themselves. They never had anything to do with us, and it's like, oh, this is what they do every weekend. They get drunk and
it's-
fight.
That's the one
but
thing
no, but-
about being the outsider of the clique. You're the observer.
You got your
casual
ass,
participant.
you got your ass kicked?
I'm not gonna say I got my ass kicked. No, come on, I got my punch in. Just like the dude. You wouldn't say I got my ass kicked. I got a few good punch.
Your eyes hanging out your head. Fucking opera singer. Did Pavarotti ever give any speeches on that? Yeah. We still need to Google if he's gay or not. I think we might have. That might have got us in some trouble. Beverly, Jake's theater girlfriend, she talks him into playing a part in a role-playing game that they're doing live, this theater thingy.
Yeah.
And he does his best to play the role. And
It was
to
like a
do
weird
well.
dating game or whatever.
Well, it was basically the dating game, except it was Alice in
Wonderland characters. Yeah, the Queen of Hearts which was a dude in full drag,
and then it
the
was
Mad Hatter,
and then Jake
and
comes
Jake
out
was
dressed
the
as
rabbit.
the rabbit, and Beverly is dressed as Alice.
That's right, and Finn is dressed as the Mad Hatter with the top hat and.
No.
No.
Finn had on a top.
He had
hat.
on a top hat, but he
He
wasn't the
found
Mad
the top
Hatter.
hat in the
Oh,
very
he
beginning
just-
and just stuck it
Oh,
on.
okay.
Because he literally, as always, whatever the situation is, Finn walks in and just immediately.
But doesn't after he gets caught blocked, some chick does jump Finn's bones?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the one that turned him
while
down.
they're- turned him down
at the very beginning.
It's that same girl that in the
Turn
very
him down at
beginning
the
of
beginning in the parking lot.
in the parking lot. She's like, "You're friend. You were friends with such and such." Yeah. Well, you're not talking now. Well,
I'm the quiet
I'm
type.
No, he's hurt because of the cock block, and then she likes
He's
it.
like, well, I was just saying that, but I'm the strong. I'm just the silent type.
And she jumps on him.
And then she's like, I'm totally into that, and fucking just gets on his face.
God bless alcohol.
Now, this isn't Bikini Summer. She doesn't literally sit on his face.
Close to it though.
Close to it.
We're fairly certain that she probably did.
Well, it was the 80s.
We didn't get to see anything else.
It was 1980.
He likes to bury himself in his work.
He spoke about his.
His major was
Majoring
in
of
cunnilingus. Well, we then cut to the creek, which I guess is the same little river area that
Yeah.
from earlier. And it's 6 a.m. and Jake and Beverly are floating in some tubes down the river. They're talking about Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus. And he's putting on the charm. She's amazed that he knows who Sisyphus is.
Yeah.
Do you know who Sisyphus is?
Sisyphus is a character from Greek mythology who the gods
Pushes the
taxed
rock
with-
continuously up the mountain only to have it roll back down, and then he just starts back up again.
This was actually a pretty heady scene, or a heady dialogue scene that I actually enjoyed.
In Tartarus.
Say again?
Tartarus. Greek hell.
Oh, yeah. But he never let it get him down.
No, it gave him purpose, according to Jake.
He's doing the same thing over and over again, but there's purpose in it.
It gives him purpose in an otherwise meaningless life.
Yeah, and that's what Jake was pretty much saying. I actually appreciated the dialogue, actually. I thought it was pretty heady without being super heady.
It wasn't too super heady, and you got that he could know these things from basic high school honors English. And she dug that he could kind of keep up with her.
It basically said Jake did sports, but he also paid attention.
Yeah, he's got a very rudimentary sense of Greek mythology, and she likes that enough to where they make out a lot.
They make out more than a lot. They go back to her place.
Yeah, they have sex. They do the dirty deed. As the sun comes up, she takes Jake back up to her dorm room where after they do it, he crashes on her bed. You see, brothers, it's not about sex with these two. They really like each other.
Yeah.
He follows her into the quad for the first day of classes, and they kiss again. A real kiss.
Yeah.
That might last the test of time?
I think so.
Possibly.
I disagree. I think they're broken up within a week.
Maybe. And I
But
love the
it's
fact
a
that it never...
sweet moment.
It is a very sweet kiss. It's much like a little different than Mitch's kiss in the grass and Days Confused with the chick, because they just partied all night and she gave him his first kiss and that was enough.
Yeah.
This is college, and they've had much more of a build up to this kiss, so you get a sense that, and they did it.
Yeah.
But you get a sense that maybe these two are gonna do something,
Or at least make a go out of it.
at least make it go.
And I
with
like
it.
the fact that they don't dwell on it. I mean, they don't, this is his college love. I mean, it's just...
Well, Finn and Dale witness the kiss, and they give him shit for it, as they should. It's, they're his buddies, and it's cheesy. But it reminded me a lot of that end of Days Confused, where Mitch gets the kiss, and the guys give him the good ribbon about it,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think they have. She's so artsy fartsy, and I just don't think it's gonna last.
Nah, probably not. She's going to go off to Juilliard. He's going to start working in the...
She is not going to Juilliard.
She's going to Juilliard. Well, she's going to New York. She'll be a waitress there for a while.
She's going to transfer to Stephen of Austin, and that's where this story ends. That's a movie I do not want to see. When she doesn't get it at Central Texas. What is the name of the school?
Southeast Texas Cherokees.
She can't hang there, so she goes to TJC and Temple. And next thing you know, she's waitressing at O'Brien's Irish Pub in historic downtown Temple, Texas. She forgets all her dreams and everything, and she's just a waitress who is a good waitress. Maybe we should make that movie.
Maybe.
Can we shoot at the pub?
Yes.
It'd be funny if you said no. Well, Jake then joins a hungover Palmer, his little preppy fellow freshman, in the first class of college, where the professor walks in, writes on the board, kind of sums it all up. Quotes, "Frontiers are where you find them." To which both guys look at it and then put their heads down on the desk and promptly fall asleep. Sam Houston style. Actually, in my notes, I had Stephen F. Austin
I was about
style.
to say, no, that was SFA style.
I do have that on my notes, Stephen F. Austin style. I apologize to all my Bearcats out there. And that's the end of the movie. It ends with them falling asleep in class. College has begun. I will admit, I would have liked some more adventures with these guys. I liked hanging out. I liked hanging out with them.
It was fun.
But like I said, that slice of life, that snapshot in time, it's awesome. I love it.
We talked a lot on the last podcast about how the bikini movies we did, Bikini Summer and Bikini Car Wash, were a subset of the TNA comedies, Hot Dog and Up the Creek that we had done.
Yeah.
This is kind of another subset of youth movies that we haven't done anything like it yet, which is a really respected, knowledgeable filmmaker. It's not relying on tits and ass. Yeah, there's a few little glimpses of nudity, but
It's
that's not what it's all about. It's not about comedy. It's
Right.
not about nudity.
Right.
It's about trying to pluck your strings to wake up some memories. Which, my God, we spent half tonight talking about our college experiences. That's what's great about it. We haven't done anything like this.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know how to categorize it other than it's a period piece. The period just happens to be
When we were
a bunch of drunk teenagers in 1980, and that's awesome.
But
I had a lot of fun with it. I liked it.
I did have a lot of fun with it. I do think it dropped the ball by being so baseball centric with the baseball crew, because unlike Dazed and Confused, which had the football crew, but they had so many other characters that weren't football related that I could associate with just about anybody, and even the football crew to an extent. I knew those characters, but I really wasn't, part of that circle. But I was a part of other circles in that film. This one, I had a harder time relating to the guys because
You couldn't latch on to a certain person.
Right. There wasn't that guy to where I was like, oh man, yeah, that was real close to me, or that was real close to this guy.
I can see that.
I thought they dropped the ball a little bit with that, but knowing his baseball background and him growing up in that, I understand why he did.
I disagree, just in the fact that I thought it was an interesting way to bring the story together. A baseball house,
Right.
different baseball players. If you'd done it like, guess what, boys? The dorms are overflown, so we're gonna stick you 20 different guys, some athletes, some jocks, some nerds. We're gonna
See, I have no
you-
association with that.
we're gonna put you into a house together. Some of you guys are science geeks, some of you guys are baseball players, and then that way everybody will have someone
But they
to.
didn't really have that. It was just pretty much baseball
No,
people.
I'm saying if they had done
Oh yeah.
what if they had not done the baseball thing and then try to include instead of the baseball thing, but like, hey, guess what? The dorms are overflown, so we have to put you 20 mismatched people in here, and there'll be somebody for Tut. There'll be somebody, there'll be a guy reading comics that Cody can relate to.
Totally.
There'll be the weirdo who watches weird films up in his apartment. Hey, that's me. I was okay with the baseball because. Yeah, you've got 20 guys and 18 of them are very similar. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, it only bothered
It
me.
made me remember,
without
without having anything in common with these characters. It made me remember, obviously, through what we've talked about tonight. It made me remember a lot of stuff.
But see, that's why, and like I said, my criticism is only a slight step down, because that's what I think Dazed and Confused did so well. Is that they had that plethora of characters that everybody could
You had
relate
the stoner
to.
guy. You had the Mila Jovanovich's boyfriend, who was just kind of a nothing. He was just kind of like the
And
outsider.
they tried to do that with this, but even all those characters still had that baseball thread that bind them all together. I'm sorry, I'll never know the experience of going into a club, having my entrance, my door fee paid, my drinks for free, and people treating me like a demigod because I was on the high school, the baseball team.
We should start finally. It's been 2 years. We should start letting them go out with us on the weekends. Dude, that's how we get treated. Tuesday Night Cigar Club. We kind of get the VIP treatment wherever we go.
That's funny because every time I drop your name, I have to pay double.
You're going to the wrong places. And I've already said that Chili's in Temple is bullshit. That was their fault.
But no, outside of that one small criticism, it was a good, fun movie, man.
It was fun.
I enjoyed it.
It was fun. And, it sparked a lot of good memories, which we talked about tonight. So I liked it.
Yeah, I have no regrets buying it.
And I just want to reiterate real quick before we have our closing statements. I love that the dude came off an Oscar nomination for a movie that he filmed over 10 years, like a huge cinematic feat, with this.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to give the people what they want, and then I'm going to give the people what I want.
I think he's just an eclectic filmmaker who wants a lot of different things. Obviously, animation, the guy can do a lot of different things. And like I said, a lot of it is not my cup of tea, but do I think this film lived up to Dazed and Confused? No.
But that's
impossible.
Unfair.
No,
Yeah,
but that's
an
impossible
unfair,
for me. It's an impossible milestone to live up to.
I agree. And that was the one thing that I kept.
But you know what?
trying to
It didn't
guard
need to
against.
match that kind of ethereal experience I had with Days Confused back in high school. It didn't need to do that. It was fun. It made me smile a lot.
Yeah.
It was very much worth my time watching.
Yes.
I talked about Tarantino earlier. Both came up kind of through Sundance, same kind of thing. For me, this was like Linklater's Death Proof. Did you ever watch Tarantino's Grindhouse movie, Death Proof?
Yes.
It was an exercise in dialogue and celebrating things he had done earlier in his career, 20 years ago, that he hadn't done in a while. People talking about frivolous things, blowjobs and dicks and beer, and it let him kind of exercise that stuff out that he hadn't done in a long time. And obviously, he still kind of enjoys those small stories and that small fun teenage 20-something stuff, and it kind of let him get it out. Maybe better, maybe not than some of the other stuff he'd done, but I think it just depends on where you are in life when you watch this.
Yeah.
And where you are as far as your favorites in his filmography.
So, it seems like we have a problem in the corner of no hope. Hi everybody, Keith A. Howell here. Usually about right now is when these three knuckleheads start wrapping up tonight's episode. The big guy starts shoveling you links in an effort to booster their lackluster social media presence. But he also gives you valuable links, such as www.fritzbeermusic.com and my personal favorite, www.keithahowell.com, the one-stop shop for all your savory voiceover needs. But sadly, technology got in the way tonight and our Tuesday night crew lost their audio, with only a few minutes left on the show. The way these guys drink, it's a miracle there hasn't been a technical breakdown like this before. I mean, seriously, have you seen the way Tut's eyes cross when he starts playing with his mixing boards all sloppy around hour 3? It's a miracle, folks. So just close your eyes and picture Cade slurring some repetitive gibberish about John Carpenter or Maria Conchita Alonso's boobs. I think he gets more excited about John Carpenter. Now picture Yak Boy, either yawning or slamming his fist down on the table and shouting about the government spying on him. And picture Tut, with his head down, quietly sobbing into a pint glass. Are they tears of joy or tears of happiness? Use your imagination, ladies and gentlemen. I can't do all the work here. So now, I'll bring this to a close and we'll roll the usual credits as if nothing out of the ordinary has occurred. And let's face it, there's a good chance at 3 hours and 45 minutes into this that you're as shit-faced as they are, and none of us will remember this in the morning. Sayonara, motherfuckers. Whatever the hell that means. To learn more about the time I lost my high school's writing competition due to rampant sexism, so, in a surprising twist, I enrolled in a new high school as a boy, and everything was going swimmingly with my gender-swapping experiment until I fell madly in love with a high school hunk named Rick Morehouse. And things got complicated. Okay, that was actually the plot of 1985's Just One of the Guys, starring Joyce Heiser and that dreamy William Zabka. Again, folks, I don't get paid enough for this nonsense. I am hanging on here by a thread. In the meantime, to learn more about the cigars and libations enjoyed on tonight's episode, you can visit www.famous-smoke.com, www.foundationcigarcompany.com, and www.unclebillysaustin.com. For more on O'Brien's Irish Pub, the live music leader in Central Texas, please visit o'brienstemple.com and download their free smartphone app, where you'll find full beer listings including over 40 on tap, menu information, and a calendar of upcoming live events. To listen and purchase music heard on tonight's program, check out www.fritzbeermusic.com. Thank you for listening to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. This is Keith A. Howell saying until next time, friends, unless we see you sooner at the pub. So keep it smoky, and for God's sake, keep it ballsy as well.
Get up, go to work, get drunk.